This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band, 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, RevoNews.ai and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Tuesday, March 3, 2026. U.S. urges Americans living in the Middle East to evacuate amid widening U.S.-Israeli war on Iran. And Jamaicans hunkering down in the region describe a tense situation. JTA says prolonged use of schools as shelters for Melissa victims, disrupting teaching and learning. In regional news, Haiti opens political party registration as presidential elections move closer. In international news, Israel attacks a presidential office in Tehran as reported death toll in Iran surpasses 700. In sports, Jamaica beat Nicaragua in CONCACAF Women's World Cup qualifier. And in business, Sagicor X Fund reports $1 billion profit for 2025. The details after the break.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The U.S. Department of State is urging Americans living in certain countries in the Middle East to depart as soon as they can. The call is for those Americans living in Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the UAE, and Yemen. This follows last Saturday's attack by the U.S. and Israel on Iran and the retaliatory action taken by the Islamic Republic. Across the region, the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait, all home to U.S. military bases, say they intercepted missiles fired towards them. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump says the big wave of strikes against Iran is yet to come. Trump added that the war could last 4 weeks and said his troops were a little ahead of schedule. In an interview with the New York Post, Trump said the possibility of American troops in Iran is not entirely off the table. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith urged Jamaicans in the Middle East to exercise vigilance and to shelter in place as conditions may require. The minister says that the government remains accessible to Jamaicans who may have emergencies. And Jamaicans in the Middle East are describing the current situation as calm but tense as they await further developments on the ongoing conflict. Several Middle Eastern countries have faced sporadic missile barrages from Iran as retaliation for the major joint offensive launched by the U.S. and Israel continue. Nationwide News spoke with 3 Jamaicans hunkering down in Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
It was horrendous. That's how a Jamaican living in the UAE, Lorenzo Smith, described the initial hours of Iran's retaliatory strikes over the capital, Abu Dhabi.
Saturday in the evening, it was just horrendous. It was just horrendous. Things were just going off, constantly. Yes. I didn't get much sleep on Saturday because it was just horrible. And then the SMS came in, and then when the SMS, comes in, it usually comes in with a loud sound. So that also drives some sort of fear in you. Into Sunday, again, that was another, Sunday morning was another test of, mental strength because they were just going off, constantly and just so loud at that as well.
The latest conflict in the Middle East was sparked by the joint military actions of the U.S. and Israel, targeting Iran's military infrastructure and senior leadership. One such strike resulted in the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Hosseini Khamenei. In retaliation, Iran launched missiles at several neighboring Middle Eastern countries, housing U.S. military bases. Another Jamaican in the UAE, Bradley Barrett, says while there's no sense of panic, bombs are still impacting the capital.
Like 5 minutes ago, and even as you took the break a while ago, there were more explosions again. So as we speak, there are explosions. Today, it has been calm. Largely for most of today, it has been calm.
Yeah.
It happened like early in the morning, like there was one wave, and then since that time, now this is another wave, and now it's like almost 3 a.m. in the morning. So it's now another wave happening now. But by and large, though, it's not like people are panicking because the authorities are very on top of it as far as we can see based on the communication. They continue to send out these alerts and ask you to shelter in place.
And a Jamaican in Kuwait, Angelique Davidson, while less fearful than she initially felt, is eager to return home to Jamaica if the situation escalates.
I do feel a greater sense of calm compared to when it first started. And as it relates to wanting to come home, of course, that's like the deep-seated thought, especially if things were to escalate from, where it is currently. But right now, with the calm we're experiencing, plus the airport is closed, the airspace is volatile. It's better to stay put, but, in a moment where there is that sense of, there's a green light that you can possibly move, I might definitely consider it, just to be out of that.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
To the courts now, after more than 3 days under intense cross-examination, a senior detective in the Klansman gang trial was again repeatedly pressed about police procedure when the matter resumed in the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston on Monday. In particular, the line of questioning sought to ascertain why 3 men who admitted to being in Crossroads St. Andrew for a planned robbery were never charged. The cross-examination is in relation to a September 26, 2018 robbery and attempted robbery. The alleged gang leader Tesha Miller and his co-accused Michael Wildman are charged on both counts. Robin Williams was in court.
Defense attorney for Tesha Miller, John Clark, challenged the detective inspector about what he suggested were procedural breaches in the way statements were collected from 3 men detained during an intelligence-led operation at the Crossroads Post Office. Clark posed a hypothetical question. Would you agree with me that if a citizen walks into a police station and indicates that, "Officer, I murdered 2 persons," the officer would have to have him give a caution statement? The detective responded, yes. Clark added, under normal circumstances, a confession is recorded in a caution statement. The prosecution objected several times, arguing that the line of questioning was speculative and that the witness could only speak to what he did on the day in question. The judge agreed that procedures were relevant but cautioned that some of the defense's questions were drifting into speculation and urged counsel to refine them. The court heard that the witness did not personally record the statements from the 3 detained men, but instructed that they be taken. He has repeatedly maintained that they were witness statements and not caution statements. Clark asked whether any of the 3 men had been cautioned before giving their statements. The detective answered, no, the statements were witness statements. Clark suggested the men admitted their presence in Crossroads was to commit a robbery. The detective responded, yes, they did. Clark pressed, but none were charged? The detective said, they gave straight statement, so they could not be charged. Clark continued, asking, the situation where someone commits a crime and gives a straight statement, can they be charged solely on the straight statement? The witness said, no. Clark pressed further, if the police only have a straight witness statement in relation to a person's role in a serious crime, can that statement be used to charge the person? To which the witness said, no, and that is the reason why none of them were charged. When it was put to him that the statements were taken purely for intelligence purposes to prevent the men from being charged, he disagreed. It was previously alluded to by the defense that one of the 3 men detained in the operation would be a Crown witness in the trial. Clark previously cited authorities to support his questioning, noting that breaches in procedures may contaminate the entire process. He added that fairness is required as he sought to establish basic standards as it relates to statement collection. During re-examination, the witness confirmed that he did not conduct any formal interviews with the 3 men. He added that to his knowledge, no caution statements were ever taken. The trial continues on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Roby-Ann Williams for Nationwide News.
A sincere woman who commanded the respect of all. That's how King's Counsel Peter Champagny has described the late Justice Sasha Marie Ashley.
Justice Ashley was someone that I was familiar with for a number of years, decades, or well over a decade. She was always, whether on the bench in the parish in which she served in the western part of the island, an affable person, whether on the bench or off the bench. She brought a kind of sincerity of purpose to her job and commanded that kind of respect from litigants and attorneys. Her passing, in my view, is a great loss. She was an outstanding public servant and she would be missed dearly.
Justice Ashley passed away on Monday after a period of illness. She was 45. Casey Champagny says Justice Ashley had a knack for making those who stood before her feel important.
She brought to the bench a kind of humility, a kind of polite method of dealing with litigants and attorneys. And you felt as though your case was the only case that was important, and she dealt with all cases like that, because once you sat and you observed how she conducted her court, you felt refreshed that yes, this is my Jamaica, this is the kind of justice system that I want, and this is the kind of judge that dispenses justice in a very fair manner.
King's Counsel Peter Champagny put teacher preparation at the center of Jamaica's recovery and long-term development strategy. That's the call from President of Micah University College, Dr. Asburn Pinnock. Writing in the University College's digital magazine, Dr. Pinnock underscored the importance for preparation of the nation's educators to withstand future economic, environmental, and social shocks. According to Dr. Pinnock, sustainable development is more about people than physical infrastructure. He says a nation is most tested in moments of disruption, not in times of stability. He says it's in those moments that investment in teacher preparation becomes not optional but foundational to national recovery. The Micah president says there's a link between strong teacher preparation, student achievement, workforce readiness, and social cohesion. He contends that sustainable economic progress and national confidence depend significantly on the quality of the country's educators and the institutions responsible for preparing them. Dr. Pinnock says there needs to be greater dialogue and conversations about the role of teacher education in strengthening Jamaica's future. 4 months after the passage of Hurricane Melissa, 13 schools across the island are still being used as emergency shelters. That's according to President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Mark Malava. Speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday, Malava acknowledged the difficult circumstances facing shelterees, but he argued that the prolonged arrangement is disrupting the education system.
Some 13 schools are still being used as shelters. We are particularly concerned about the fact that a number of primary schools are being used as shelters. These are young, impressionable children whose sense of responsibility and sense of awareness tends to be a little bit less because of their age. We are particularly concerned about those areas and those schools that are being used, the primary schools that are being used as shelters.
Mark Malava, president of the Jamaica Teachers Association. According to Malava, there's been about 2 or 3 missed relocation deadlines set by the Minister of Local Government. He's calling on the authorities to urgently relocate persons displaced by Hurricane Melissa who remain housed on school compounds so that the institutions can fully return to normal operations. Director of the Center for Disability Studies at the University of the West Indies, UWI, Professor Floyd Morris, says he will continue to advocate for sign language to become an official language in Jamaica. Senator Morris was speaking at the launch of the Jamaica Libraries and Information Network, JAMLIN's Jamaica Sign Language Training Program at the UWI Main Library on Monday morning.
If adopted, we are going to see a transformation in the national landscape as it relates to persons who are deaf where sign language is concerned. And I am very committed to it because if it is the last thing that I do whilst I'm in the Senate, I'm going to be pushing for the introduction of sign language as an official language.
The program is dubbed Bridging the Gap Inclusivity for All. It's aimed at removing communication and sensory barriers within Jamaica's library services. Mandated by the National Library Act of 2010, it will be implemented across all 5 of JAMLIN's sector networks. Professor Morris says he has already taken steps in the Senate to have sign language enjoy greater legitimacy in law.
And if anybody doubts my credibility where that is concerned, you need to look at the Disabilities Act and see the conceptualizer and whose signature is on it as president. And it is important. I have tabled a motion in the Senate in 2024 calling for the government of Jamaica to make sign language an official language of the state. The motion is yet to be debated.
Professor Floyd Morris, director of the Center for Disabilities at UWI. Meanwhile, a Jamaican Sign Language interpreter Antoinette Aiken says Jamaica needs more professional interpreters.
Currently, we have about, I would say, for political interpreting, not a lot. Probably one other person who I have to be there, they can't be by themselves. But when you talk about like social settings or certain events that are everyday lingo, I would say we have about 4 or 5 who can manage that. So that shows you the big gap. So when it comes to policy, things that are discussed in legislation, etc., there is a significant gap.
Aiken says the mission to outfit more people with the skills to function as professional interpreters must begin at the early childhood level.
That is very, very, very important. In order for us to do that, though, we'd have to start at a young age. So that would mean, as was stated earlier, making Jamaican Sign Language an official language and then introducing that to children in schools so that whatever they do when they become an adult, it would become something that's familiar to them. So they'd have basic conversational skills from a young age. And if they have an interest, it can also become a career because right now we need interpreters.
Antoinette Aiken, Jamaican Sign Language interpreter. She was speaking after the launch of JAMLIN's Jamaica Sign Language Training Program at the UWI Main Library in St. Andrew on Monday. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:19.
So some of you have been listening longer than I've been talking on radio, so this is our way of keeping it strong together. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club on Patreon and stay with us.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, the Provisional Electoral Council in Haiti announced Monday that it has open registration for political parties, alliances, and other stakeholders. This as the country prepares for a long-awaited presidential election. The registration process will run until March 12. To register, official representatives of political organizations are required to appear at the Council's central office with the documentation outlined in the Electoral Decree of 2025. Prime Minister Alex Didier Fils-Aimé said last week that he remains confident elections will be held by year's end. It will be Haiti's first presidential election since 2016, when the late Jovenel Moïse was selected. International, Israel says it has carried out new attacks on Iran's leadership compound in Tehran. In a statement on Telegram, the IDF says numerous munitions were dropped on the presidential office and the Supreme National Security Council. It adds that a military training institution and additional key regime infrastructure were also hit. Meanwhile, Iran struck the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia's capital with 2 drones early Tuesday as it kept hitting targets around the region. The attack reportedly caused unlimited fire and minor damage, and the embassy urged Americans to avoid the compound. It followed an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, which announced Tuesday it had been closed until further notice. The Red Crescent says that the number of people killed since the U.S.-Israeli attacks began has reached 787. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Whether you're buying your very first home, purchasing a more spacious home, or securing an investment property, a JMMB Bank mortgage gives you the confidence to take the next step. Enjoy low interest rates, competitive processing fees, a 1-month payment holiday available upon request, and exclusive merchant partner discounts to help you get move-in ready. Your dream deserves the right support. JMMB Bank Mortgage, you can do this. We can help. Speak with a mortgage specialist today at 876-998-JMMB or visit jmmb.com. Conditions apply.
Time now for your morning sports. Captain Khadija Shaw was on target in the 37th and 58th minutes as Jamaica beat Nicaragua 3-2 in their CONCACAF Women's World Cup qualifier in Managua on Monday night. Shaw's tally of international goals now stands at 62 in 46 games. Shania Hales got the third goal for Jamaica, who are now top of the group on goal difference. over the Nicaraguans, who played a game more. Jamaica will now return home for more World Cup qualifying group games against Antigua and Barbuda on April 10 and Guyana on April 18. Waterhouse's superb run in the Ren Nephew Jamaica Premier League continued on Monday night with a 3-0 win over Spanish Town Police at Drewsland Mini Stadium. Amani Lecoq, Shamari Dallas, and Mario Sims were on target for Waterhouse, who are winning for the 6th time in 7 games. The former champions are now up to 37 points, further solidifying 5th spot in the standings. Meanwhile, Harborview came from 2-0 down to earn a 2-2 draw with Malines United. Ronaldo Barrett and Nicholas Nelson scored 4 minutes apart to put Malines 2-0 up after 10 minutes. But Trayvon Reed in the 29th and Omar Thompson in the 83rd minutes rescued a point for Harborview, who remained second from bottom on 21 points. Finally, in your morning sports, with a field of 64 golfers chasing glory, Clifton Johnson delivered a composed and clinical performance to capture overall honors at the recent Red Blazer Charity Golf Classic, posting 42 points in the full handicap Stableford competition at Caymanas Golf Club. Johnson's steady hand and calm focus set him apart from a competitive field, earning him the tournament's signature Red Blazer. In a touching, symbolic moment, last year's champion, 83-year-old Gordon Hutchinson, draped the blazer over Johnson's shoulders, passing on a tradition that embodies both excellence and camaraderie. Elsewhere, Dave Lynn topped the men's super senior division, while Damian Anderson claimed the men's and men's senior title. Jennifer Mendez led the women's division. And that's it for Morning Sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In business this morning, Sagicor Real Estate X Fund Limited closed the 2025 financial year with record profitability of just over $1 billion. In a statement to the media, X Fund says the figure represents year-over-year growth of 121%. Sagicor Group says the strong performance was driven by a 70% improvement in net profits from core operations. This jumped from just over $454 million in the prior year to $772 million at the end of 2025. The X Fund says its strategy to expand its direct real estate portfolio with the purchase of investment property in September 2024 led to a higher profit contribution from commercial operations, which reached 11.2%, up from minus 7% last year. Meanwhile, the fund says earnings per share grew to 45 cents in 2025, representing a 125% increase over the prior year's 20 cents. The company also generated positive cash flows of $922 million from its operating activities. X-Fund's share price closed 2025 at $8, with a market capitalization of $17.94 billion. Now, JN Bank Limited Managing Director Lisa Cow is departing the bank. She is set to exit on March 31. Keith Levy is set to take over as interim managing director. Deputy Chairman and CEO of the Jamaica National Group, Earl Jarrett, in a statement on Monday, says Ko began her career at JN in 2003 and over 2 decades touched several key areas of the group. This includes remittances, marketing, international operations, and, in time, the leadership of Jane Bank itself. She did not merely occupy roles in those areas, he says. She contributed to their transformation. Meanwhile, Mr. Jarrett says he's aware that some will be looking for meaning in this transition beyond what is actually there. He says plainly that Ko's departure is her decision made on her own terms at a time of her choosing. He says it is not a symptom of anything, but rather the closure of a remarkable career at JN, handled with the same dignity and professionalism that has characterized everything she has done. As companies continue their assessment of the impact of Hurricane Melissa, Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited, CPJ, a major subsidiary under the separate conglomerate, is reporting that the Category 5 storm dealt a severe blow to its operations. Richard Pandoe is Chief Executive Officer of Separate Limited.
Melissa, I mean, the company infrastructure was badly damaged in the sense that quite a lot of damage to the warehousing, and so there's some processing. We process meat and we process seafood over there to shrimp and beef and all them kind of things. So significant damage was done to that, and we lost like over $20 million worth of inventory. And then simultaneously the hotel demand has fallen. So you had that, that situation. But it's part of the risk of doing business. That's why we have a diversified portfolio. So CPJ got hit, but the other business thankfully, didn't suffer that type of damage or anything like that. And we're across the region. So you kind of roll with the blow.
Seprod acquired CPJ in 2024. The move was seen as a strategic push to diversify Seprod's operations while carving out a niche in the lucrative tourism market. CPJ is a leading player in the food and beverage distribution sector, catering to demands in hotels and resorts. Mr. Pandoe is eyeing a major rebound for the company later this year, but the forecast is linked to an expected resurgence in the tourism sector, which is still recovering from the ravages of Hurricane Melissa.
On the processing side, we're probably 60% back up on the meat and seafood processing, but the rest, the demand is not the same as it would have been if hotels are open. On the juice side, they're probably 20-30% up. So we're clearly looking for market outside of Jamaica and growing that, and that is going to happen. It takes time, but we see really, really good opportunities. But we're rolling with it. But I mean, the bottom line is CPJ will clearly make less money than it would have normally made in prior years, because we don't see the hotel industry recovering until November and November, December, thereabout this year. We're using the opportunity to really reinforce and strengthen the business that will rebound at a much faster rate and move forward.
Richard Pandoe, CEO of Seprod Limited. Finally, in foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar has gained 14 cents and will open against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $157.12. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has gained $3.63 and will open selling for an average $114.62. And finally, the Jamaican has gained $2.25 and will begin trading for an average $211.08 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Register your property or update an existing title through the Land Administration and Management Division. The time by the National Land Agency is
6:32.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special. The Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
With the Family Club, members get early access to our documentaries before anyone else. Some of your favorite segments, including Cliff Says, What's on My Mind, Cover Story, and others will now be a click away inside the Family Club. There are 3 tiers of membership. First, Bronze, the Family Insider, behind-the-scenes access, Monday motivational videos, members-only chats, and on-air birthdays and anniversary shoutouts.
Second, Silver, Nationwide VIP. Breaking news alerts, exclusive documentaries, quizzes, personal milestones celebrated on air, and weekly family roll call mentions. Oh, and for our biggest supporters,
our gold category, elite listener, full archive access, early releases, private studio tours, live show experiences, personalized birthday videos, and exclusive live streams. From historic election coverage to lifetime, impact, Jamaican milestones, and rare archive content. This is nationwide like you've never seen it before.
Join the family. Support Nationwide 90 FM, the station that informs, entertains, and educates. Visit patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. That's patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Nationwide Family Club, where you are family, because we see you as family.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
The sun is out and shining, a smile on my face. Good morning, Mr. Obstacles. How you doing today? If I am living, I have to live it up, no matter the feeling. I got to get up. If I am living, I have to live it up, no matter the feeling. I got to get up.
And that's a spirit. And you can do it. Oh, that's a spirit. And you can do it.
Yeah. And that's the spirit. When you fall on the ground, get up, pick up yourself. You can do it. Brush off your clothes and prepare for something else. And that's the spirit. No time for those. Get up, wake up and move. Put on your champion shoes. I tell the man in the mirror, you are a winner. Can do it. You are a champion. Oh, you can get through it. God, if I am living, I have to live it up, no matter the feeling. I got to get up. If I am living, I have to live it up, no matter the feeling. I got to get up.
Looking good in the neighborhood.
In the neighbor what?
This Tuesday morning.
In the community.
In the community. Listen, it's morning radio. A very good morning. Good morning to you. You are tuned in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, the big show. Thank you so much for hopping on over and joining us this morning. It is Tuesday, March 3, 2026. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Good morning, Tawna. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. My name is George.
Good morning, George.
But can't believe, you know, boy, listeners, boy, me and Tawna have a little family feud that go on right now. Because Tawna was at the big festival and watch me. I must be a blog. I not even say, yo, what want my G? Nothing.
Listen, George, and I regret not having taken a video, you know.
Jeez,
Yeah, and then yesterday went on your socials
Oh.
So you are a pillion.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that little more.
So what is this?
I'll tell you about that little
Hilarious.
more. It was a case of needs must.
I
Needs
understand.
must.
Well,
Needs
the caption said.
Yeah,
enough.
needs must. I have to take drastic actions, don't I?
Yeah.
Sure. This morning, listeners, usually, of course, Tuesday is Tana's morning, but she was pressed into service on Monday because, of course, I was in Manchester for that Homewood Technical 90th anniversary event. And yeah, so we just do like a switch round. There's a big event coming up in a few days' time, which is, of course, no secret, the Finance Minister's opening of the budget debate for the 2026-2020 for the new fiscal year 26-27. And this morning I'm just wanting to provide a little bit of context to the area that the Finance Minister will be speaking in, meaning the space that the country is in, and to offer a perspective, the outline thereof. I'm struggling not to say adumbrate, but that's what's in my mind, but I don't want to use that. Just the structure, yeah? In which she will speak. And I want to make a comparison, a quick one, for the purpose of providing that context that will help to shape perspective so that we can understand the deck of cards that the administration is playing this game with. This Holiness administration, as we've said, is celebrating 10 years in office, 10 unbroken years. The first finance minister in this sequence of years was Audley Fitzalbert Shaw, the Homewood technical graduate who went on to become finance minister. And when he presented the first budget of this JLP at 10 administration, let me call it that, things in Jamaica were much different. The economic fundamentals were much different. The world order was much different. Geopolitics was much different. At that time, Shaw wasn't concerning himself with geopolitics. Favour Williams must concern herself with geopolitics, especially because one of the key things on which her budget numbers have been predicated, Tana, the price of oil, will have changed between when she speaks the first word in the debate on March 12th, 10, on March 10, when she opens. That oil price will be different from what it is today, and it will be different from what it was when she started crafting her speech in concert with her handlers. Shaw went into that first budget speech in 2016, predicating his numbers on oil, a barrel of oil, costing $36.90 US per barrel. It could be, based on what's happening in Iran and the bombing of installations in Saudi Arabia, the biggest refinery in the world, bombed, and more to come, you expect. It could be that by the time she speaks, oil would have gone up to $80 US a barrel. So the calculations would be affected by that. The base predication of the budget would have to change. So that's one thing. When Shaw took office as the finance minister in 2016, our NIR at the time was about 2.9 billion US. 2.9 billion US. Today, when Favour Williams speaks on March 10, she has an NIR of about 6.6 billion. Totally different. Shaw, when he spoke, was looking at an unemployment rate of 13.5%. That was the national unemployment rate in 2016 when the JLP administration was starting its work as government. Today, 10 years later, Favour Williams will present in an economy where the unemployment rate is 3.3%. Now, at the time, that 13.5% unemployment rate in Jamaica in 2016 was more than double the global unemployment rate. And we were, of course, at that time, one of the 10 most indebted countries in the world. Clearly, our debt profile has improved significantly. And now, rather than having an unemployment rate that was twice the global average in 2016, now our unemployment rate at 3.3% is below the global unemployment rate of about 4.6%, according to the International Labour Organization. So, key difference there. When Shaw presented that budget in 2016, it was call it a $580 billion budget in terms of the estimates of expenditure. Now, this budget, the government is planning to spend on recurrent and capital expenditure $1.44 trillion. And based on its revenue and loan receipts calculations, it's projecting to collect $1.337 trillion, which leaves a gap of $103 billion. Back then, Shaw was looking to rake in tax revenue of $447.4 billion. That was 10 years ago. Favour Williams' tax revenue collection projection is $979 billion, more than 2 times what it was in 2016, beg your pardon, 10 years ago. Non-tax revenue, which is of course licenses, fees, Shaw was projecting to collect $30.5 billion from that. Favour Williams is projected to collect $97 billion, 100% more. Where recurrent revenue is concerned, Shaw was leaning on a bauxite levy of $2.8 billion. There isn't any bauxite levy now in these calculations that the Ministry of Finance published recently. But capital revenue, Shaw was projecting to collect $700 million in capital revenue in 2016. Favour Williams is projecting to collect $7.2 billion. Much more. Over $6 billion more. In terms of grants, Shaw projected to collect $5.2 billion in grants. Favour Williams' figure, $6.8 billion. And where loan receipts are concerned, Shaw programmed the loan inflows from domestic and external sources for $89.4 billion. Favour is $247 billion in loan receipts. So total revenue and loan receipts, $1.337 trillion. Recurrent and capital expenditure, $1.441 trillion. Simple calculation, you have a gap of $105 billion to bridge. Now, I mentioned those numbers to show, one, how far we've come in 10 years in terms of some key indicators, because again, I say there was a time when the health of the NIR, the unemployment rate, inflation, in terms of inflation, point-to-point inflation then and now, Shaw's budget was predicated on an inflation rate of 5.5%. Favour Williams is doing her numbers based on a point-to-point inflation of 3.9%. So a much better position she's in. And we spoke, of course, about the oil price average as well, that Shaw's numbers were set on, and the uncertainty around which number Favour Williams will use, given that the thing is in flux, constantly changing, and we don't know where this oil price will be in a week's time. So I put those on the table for consideration and contemplation of how far we've come, the set of variables that exist and which form the plinth, that solid base on which spending plans are based. In the details of his budget presentation 10 years ago, Shaw spoke to money set aside for settling public sector wages. We don't know what figure Favour is going to tell you has been set aside for that. Yeah, given where the negotiations are right now. But that's also another consideration. So the budget exercise ahead, the speech ahead, what will be the areas where the goodies will come from? Because we've been spoiled for choice in recent time. You expect the finance minister to give you goodies, and then you expect the prime minister to then come and lay it on thick. Mm-hmm. You know, like when you put peanut butter on bread and, you know, share it out, wagga wagga, as them say, you know. That's what you expect. Will that happen this time, given the huge difference between recurrent and capital expenditure and revenue and loan receipts of 105 billion? How much goodies will be in the budget? How much room do we have? And how significant will the oil price issue be to what the finance minister actually presents in terms of the fundamental numbers that will shape the budget that she will give details of? I expect that there will be some disappointment, because there has to be. It's a difficult environment. And with the geopolitics as it is, this thing about economic certainty and certainty in decision making has to go through the window, and other considerations will have to come forward as you try to set down a course for spending and revenue generation, income generation, that can help you to carry the country through the next fiscal year. I'm happy that the job of finance minister is not mine.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:50.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Every day, Rosie has a glass of fruit drink with breakfast, an energy drink on the way to work, a flavored water with lunch, and 2 glasses of soda with dinner, which adds up to more than 50 teaspoons of sugar a day. And all that extra sugar could bring on obesity. Are we drinking ourselves sick? 71% of Jamaicans support a tax on sugary drinks. Help tackle obesity and protect our children's future. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, George, and to our listeners, and good morning, Tona.
Well, good morning, Ludlow.
Right, everyone tuned in at this time. It's bright but not sunny. Some serious clouds above, and the situation is that compared to yesterday morning at this time, I think this one is quite active. Yesterday was, but I've seen more traffic coming out of along the Mandela Highway heading towards Boulevard and towards Spanish Town Road, Mullines Road, as an increased vehicle flow at this time, and this is heading to Harvard 3 Parrot Drive onto Woodglen. There's some traffic there moving, but you see it's moving all the way up into Harvard 3 from the Hagley Park Road end. And the Constance Spring Road heading down southbound into Harvard 3, quite active. In the vicinity of Dunrobin, there's also traffic there going across to Constance Spring Road, Reddish Road, steady all the way down And those are places like up in the Norbrook area, you're going to find the vehicular movement quite good so far. Along short to the Olivia Road, short to the road, going across to Acadia Drive, then on the Barbican Road, you see it's getting quite busy. So the activities have, lightened up early this morning, and maybe by the time we get to our second apart, no doubt we'll have plenty traffic in many other areas. Wow, George?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The job of a finance minister from a macro and a micro standpoint, from the so many internal and external shocks. Wow. It's a tough position our portfolio to occupy.
Very tough, sir.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, cool. Lolo there with Street Smarts One. Up next, word of the day.
Your word of the day is spelled B-O-N-T-O-N. B-O-N-T-O-N.
Bonton. Bonton. Bonton.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bonton is your word of the day, and it means a fashionable society, bonton. To use it in a sentence, only the bonton received invitations to the exclusive, highly anticipated summer ball. Only the bonton, the fashionable society, received invitations to the exclusive, highly anticipated summer ball. B-O-N-T-O-N, bonton, your word of the day.
Cinnamon has been valued for its medicinal properties for thousands of years. In recent times, modern research has begun to validate many of its potential health benefits. In Food for Thought today, we explore 7 health benefits of cinnamon. 1. Rich in antioxidants. Cinnamon is packed with powerful antioxidants such as polyphenols, which help protect the body from oxidative damage caused by free radicals. 2. Widely recognized for its anti-diabetic properties, cinnamon is considered one of the most effective natural remedies for regulating blood sugar levels. According to naturopath and medical doctor Gus Landivar, cinnamon enhances insulin sensitivity in the body, aiding in better glucose management.
You see, cinnamon lowers blood sugar because it improves sensitivity to insulin in the human body. What it does is basically help transport sugar from our bloodstream into our cells and organs, keeping those sugar levels stable and well balanced. This has even a better effect if you decide to engage in physical activity on a daily basis. I believe there's nothing better than exercise, especially if you're taking a good supplement for sugar control.
3. Cinnamon may help reduce key risk factors for heart disease, such as high cholesterol, triglycerides, and blood pressure, promoting overall cardiovascular health. Cinnamaldehyde, a key active compound in cinnamon, may help combat various infections. Research suggests it can inhibit the growth of certain bacteria, including Candida, Listeria, and Salmonella. The antimicrobial properties of cinnamon may help prevent tooth decay and freshen breath. Additionally, it is beneficial for maintaining healthy skin. Some studies indicate that cinnamon may offer protection against certain viruses. According to Dr. Gus, cinnamon's natural compounds contribute to its antiviral properties.
You might not know this, but cinnamon contains natural antimicrobial, antibiotic, antifungal, and antiviral properties. This is especially helpful for the situation we are living today. Cinnamon has been used for centuries by many cultures to fight off harmful infections and viruses. Traditional cultures, especially in China and India, recognize the power of cinnamon as an antimicrobial. But that's not all, because at the same time, this herb is also known for its powerful immune-boosting compounds. Cinnamon oil particularly can protect us against bacterial infections and common conditions like colds or even virus infections.
Research suggests that cinnamon's powerful antioxidants may help protect cells from DNA damage, mutations, and tumor growth, making it a promising candidate for cancer prevention and support. That's it for Food for Thought today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
When you're eating,
especially at a restaurant or in any public place, do you know that the utensils, which are the knives, forks, spoons, etc., have a language of their own? This language just has to be learned and practiced so that you're not left in an awkward position to be judged by others as being a butu or a sketel, even if you appear to be very wealthy. This is Lifestyle Pages on Eating in Public. There are two schools of thought on the language that governs how we use knives, forks, spoons, etc. The British, the European language, and the American way. The American way is to use a fork to hold the food in place and then use the knife to cut the food. The knife is then placed at the top or side of the plate, and the fork is then switched to the right hand and lifted to the mouth. Some people find it offensive to use the back of the fork, and others find it offensive to use the knife to place food in the sink or inside of the fork as if it were a shovel. The rule to observe is, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
One nation, one purpose, to rebuild stronger than before. Build it to last with tools and equipment from National Supply. The temperature by National Supply is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news this morning, Tuesday, March 3, 2026, the United States urges Americans living in the Middle East to evacuate amid widening war on Iran. And Jamaicans hunkering down in the region describe a tense situation. JTA says prolonged use of schools as shelters for militia victims is disrupting teaching and learning. And in international news, Israel attacks presidential office in Tehran as reported death toll surpasses 700.
News at 7 is brought to you by Hanes Underwear. Cool, comfortable clothing all day long.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The U.S. Department of State is urging Americans living in certain countries in the Middle East to depart as soon as they can. The call is for those Americans living in Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the UAE, and Yemen. This follows last Saturday's attack by the U.S. and Israel on Iran and the retaliatory action taken by the Islamic Republic. Across the region, the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait, all home to U.S. military bases, say they intercepted missiles fired towards them. U.S. President Donald Trump says the big wave of strikes against Iran is yet to come. Trump added that the war could last 4 weeks and said his troops were a little ahead of schedule. In an interview with the New York Post, Trump said the possibility of American troops in Iran is not entirely off the table. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith urged the Jamaicans in the Middle East to exercise vigilance and shelter in place as conditions may require. She says the government remains accessible to Jamaicans who may have emergencies. And Jamaicans in the Middle East are describing the current situation as calm but tense as they await further developments in the ongoing conflict. Several Middle Eastern countries have faced sporadic missile barrages from Iran as retaliation for the major joint offensive launched by the U.S. and Israel. Nationwide News spoke with 3 Jamaicans in Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates. Chevon Campbell tells us more.
It was horrendous. That's how a Jamaican living in the UAE, Lorenzo Smith,
described the initial hours of Iran's retaliatory strikes over the capital, Abu Dhabi.
Saturday in the evening, it was just horrendous. It was just horrendous. Things were just going off, constantly.
Yes.
I didn't get much sleep on Saturday because it was just horrible. And then the SMS came in, and then when the SMS, comes in, it usually comes with a loud sound. So that also drives some sort of fear in you. And into Sunday, again, Sunday morning was another test of, mental strength because they were just going off, constantly, and it was so loud at that as well.
The latest conflict in the Middle East was sparked by the joint military actions of the US and Israel, targeting Iran's military infrastructure and senior leadership. One such strike resulted in the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Hosseini Khamenei. In retaliation, Iran launched missiles at several neighboring Middle Eastern countries, housing US military bases. Another Jamaican in the UAE, Bradley Barrett, says while there's no sense of panic, bombs are still impacting the capital.
Like 5 minutes ago, and even as you took the break a while ago, there were more explosions again. So as we speak, there are explosions. Today, it has been calm. Largely for most of today, it has been calm.
Yeah.
It happened like early in the morning, like there was one wave, and then since that time, now this is another wave, and now it's like almost 3 a.m. in the morning. So it's now another wave happening now. But by and large, though, it's not like people are panicking because the authorities are very on top of it as far as we can see based on the communication. They continue to send out these alerts and ask you to shelter in place.
And the Jamaican in Kuwait, Angelique Davidson, while less fearful than she initially felt, is eager to return home to Jamaica if the situation escalates.
I do feel a greater sense of calm compared to when it first started. And as it relates to wanting to come home, of course, that's like the deep-seated thought, especially if things were to escalate from, where it is currently. But right now, with the calm we're experiencing, plus the airport is closed, the airspace is volatile. It's better to stay put, but, in a moment where there is that sense of, there's a green light that you can possibly move, I might definitely consider it, just to be out of that.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Siobhan. After more than 3 days under intense cross-examination, a senior detective in the Klansman gang trial was again repeatedly pressed about police procedure when the matter resumed in the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston on Monday. In particular, the line of questioning sought to ascertain why 3 men who admitted to being in Crossroads, St. Andrew for a planned robbery were never charged. The cross-examination is in relation to a September 26, 2018 robbery and attempted robbery. The alleged gang leader, Tesha Miller, and his co-accused, Michael Wildman, are charged on both counts. Robian Williams was in court.
Defense attorney for Tesha Miller, John Clark, challenged the detective inspector about what he suggested were procedural breaches in the way statements were collected from 3 men detained during an intelligence-led operation at the Crossroads Post Office. Clark posed a hypothetical question. Would you agree with me that if a citizen walks into a police station and indicates that, "Officer, I murdered 2 persons," the officer would have to have him give a caution statement? The detective responded, "Yes." Clark added, "Under normal circumstances, a confession is recorded in a caution statement." The prosecution objected several times, arguing that the line of questioning was speculative and that the witness could only speak to what he did on the day in question. The judge agreed that procedures were relevant but cautioned that some of the defense's questions were drifting into speculation and urged counsel to refine them. The court heard that the witness did not personally record the statements from the 3 detained men, but instructed that they be taken. He has repeatedly maintained that they were witness statements and not caution statements. Clark asked whether any of the 3 men had been cautioned before giving their statements. The detective answered, no, the statements were witness statements. Clark suggested the men admitted their presence in Crossroads was to commit a robbery. The detective responded, yes, they did. Clark pressed, but none were charged? The detective said, they gave straight statement, so they could not be charged. Clark continued, asking, The situation where someone commits a crime and gives a straight statement, can they be charged solely on the straight statement? The witness said no. Clark pressed further. If the police only have a straight witness statement in relation to a person's role in a serious crime, can that statement be used to charge the person? To which the witness said no, and that is the reason why none of them were charged. When it was put to him that the statements were taken purely for intelligence purposes to prevent the men from being charged, he disagreed. It was previously alluded to by the defense that one of the 3 men detained in the operation would be a Crown witness in the trial. Clark previously cited authorities to support his questioning, noting that breaches in procedures may contaminate the entire process. He added that fairness is required as he sought to establish basic standards as it relates to statement collection. During re-examination, the witness confirmed that he did not conduct any formal interviews with the 3 men. He added that to his knowledge, no caution statements were ever taken. The trial continues on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Robianne Williams for Nationwide News.
A sincere woman who commanded the respect of all. That's how King's Counsel Peter Champagny has described the late Justice Sasha Marie Ashley.
Justice Ashley was someone that I was familiar with for a number of years, decades, or well over a decade. She was always, whether on the bench in the parish in which she served in the western part of the island, an affable person, whether on the bench or off the bench. She brought a kind of sincerity of purpose to her job and commanded that kind of respect from litigants and attorneys. Her passing, in my view, is a great loss. She was an outstanding public servant and she will be missed dearly.
Justice Ashley passed away on Monday after a period of illness. She was 45. Casey Champagny says she had a knack for making those who stood before her feel important.
She brought to the bench a kind of humility, a kind of polite method of dealing with litigants and attorneys. And you felt as though your case was the only case that was important. And she dealt with all cases like that, because once you sat and you observed how she conducted her court, you felt refreshed that yes, this is my Jamaica, this is the kind of justice system that I want, and this is the kind of judge that dispenses justice in a very fair manner.
Peter Champagny, King's Counsel. Put teacher preparation at the center of Jamaica's recovery and the long-term development strategy. That's the call from President of Mico University College, Dr. Asburn Pinnock. Writing in the University College's digital magazine, Dr. Pinnock underscored the importance for preparation of the nation's educators to withstand future economic, environmental, and social shocks. According to him, sustainable development is more about people than physical infrastructure. He says a nation is most tested in moments of disruption, not in times of stability. He says it's in those moments that investment in teacher preparation becomes not optional but foundational to national recovery. He says there's a link between strong teacher preparation, student achievement, workforce readiness, and social cohesion. Dr. Pinnock contends that sustainable economic progress and national confidence depend significantly on the quality of the country's educators and institutions responsible for preparing them. He says there needs to be greater dialogue and conversations about the role of teacher education in strengthening Jamaica's future. 4 months after the passage of Hurricane Melissa, 13 schools across the island are still being used as emergency shelters. That's according to President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Mark Malover. Speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday, Malover acknowledged the difficult circumstances facing shelterees, but he argued that the prolonged arrangement is disrupting the education system.
Some 13 schools are still being used as shelters. We are particularly concerned about the fact that a number of primary schools are being used as shelters. These are young, impressionable children whose sense of responsibility and sense of awareness tends to be a little bit less because of their age. We are particularly concerned about those areas and those schools that are being used, the primary schools that are being used as shelters.
Mark Malava, president of the JTA. According to him, there have been about 2 or 3 missed relocation deadlines set by the Ministry of Local Government. He's calling on the authorities to urgently relocate persons displaced by Hurricane Melissa who remain housed on school compounds so the institutions can return fully to normal operations. Director of the Center for Disability Studies at the University of the West Indies, UWI, Professor Floyd Morris, says he will continue to advocate for sign language to become an official language in Jamaica. Senator Morris was speaking at the launch of the Jamaica Libraries and Information Network, or JAMLIN's Jamaica Sign Language Training Program at the UWI Main Library on Monday morning.
If adopted, we are going to see a transformation in the national landscape as it relates to persons who are deaf where sign language is concerned. And I am very committed to it because if it is the last thing that I do whilst I'm in the Senate, I'm going to be pushing for the introduction of sign language as an official language.
The program is dubbed Bridging the Gap, Inclusivity for All. It's aimed at removing communication and sensory barriers within Jamaica's library services. Mandated by the National Library Act of 2010, it will be implemented across all 5 of JAMLIN's sector networks. Professor Morris says he has already taken steps in the Senate to have sign language enjoy greater legitimacy in law.
And if anybody knows my credibility where that is concerned, you need to look at the Disabilities Act and see the conceptualizer and whose signature is on it as president. And it is important. I have tabled a motion in the Senate in 2024 calling for the government of Jamaica to make sign language an official language of the state. The motion is yet to be debated.
Professor Floyd Morris, director of the Center for Disabilities at the UWI. Meanwhile, Jamaican Sign Language interpreter Antoinette Aiken says Jamaica needs more professional interpreters.
Currently, we have about, I would say, for political interpreting, not a lot. Probably one other person who I have to be there, they can't be by themselves. But when you talk about like social settings or certain events that are everyday lingo, I would say we have about 4 or 5 who can manage that. So that shows you the big gap. So when it comes to policy, things that are discussed in legislation, etc., there is a significant gap.
Aiken says the mission to outfit more people with these skills to function as professional interpreters must begin at the early childhood level.
That is very, very, very important. In order for us to do that, though, we'd have to start at a young age. So that would mean, as was stated earlier, making Jamaican Sign Language an official language and then introducing that to children in schools so that whatever they do when they become an adult, it would become something that's familiar to them. So they'd have basic conversational skills from a young age. And if they have an interest, it can also become a career because right now we need interpreters.
Antoinette Aiken, Jamaica Sign Language interpreter. She was speaking after the launch of JAMLIN's Jamaica Sign Language Training Program at the UWI Main Library in St. Andrew on Monday. International news. Israel says it has carried out new attacks on Iran's leadership compound in Tehran. In a statement on Telegram, Israel Defense Forces say numerous munitions were dropped on the presidential office and the Supreme National Security Council. It adds that a military training institution and an additional key regime infrastructure were also hit. Meanwhile, Iran struck the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia's capital with 2 drones early on Tuesday as it kept hitting targets around the region. The attack reportedly caused a limited fire and minor damage, and the embassy urged Americans to avoid the compound. It followed an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, which announced Tuesday it had been closed until further notice. The Red Crescent says the number of people killed since the U.S.-Israeli attacks began has reached 790. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Hanes Underwear. Cool, comfortable clothing all day long.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
7:17.
So some of you have been listening longer than I've been talking on radio. So this is our way of keeping it strong together. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club on Patreon and stay with us.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George, and listeners, motoring protocol visitors. I won't forget, I can't leave out our visitors. Welcome those who are returning and those who are here and those who are leaving, departed. So I hope you had a great experience. It's now bright and sunny, and remember now most of the major areas are quite active. Upper Waterloo coming down to Waterloo, the shorter road going out to Constant Spring Road, but Grandston Road going out to Barbican Road going all the way around to East King Gulf Road, Acada Drive onto Barbican Road, and Russ Lights, all these roads quite active as they make their way around Jackson Road. There are some vehicles coming out there too, and as they make their way around to Barbican, there's another set of traffic there. Some is heading across the Barbican Road and then exits onto either Hope Road or Olop Road. And it's just quite active in that area. The Ligony area always active, whether this time during the course of the day or in the afternoon or even sometimes in the night. But going on Olop Road, it's a stream of traffic going down. Also coming from Wellington Drive onto Monroe Road, then onto Olop Road. That's really active at this point in time. And going further down, going past Mountain View Avenue to the left there, and then Stanton Terrace, you see a number of vehicles crossing that area also, and then Lady Musgrave Road and Olop Road quite active as you make your way further down. Tom Redcom, quite busy also, a number of vehicles coming from the Arthur Wins Drive to get onto Tom Redcom, and it's just quite busy in these areas. And not to forget, Crossroads, Retirement Road, Harper Tree Road, quite busy in those areas too. So all of the intersections are busy at this point in time. Yesterday, I think it was Monday, I said that the lights at Trafalgar and Grenada Crescent was working. Now it is out of commission again. So relevant authority, I don't know what is the cause, but it seems it needs urgent attention. It's our second report for the morning. We urge you, lane properly. At Street Smart, your safety is our concern. It's over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts 2, getting an idea. Well, Joe just gave you a representation. Not a representation, we just showed you the live camera on the streets, showing you the traffic piling up at the busy intersections. That's Street Smarts 2. Up next, front page. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned into our discussion segment, The Front Page. The U.S. Department of State is urging Americans living in certain countries in the Middle East to depart as soon as they can. The call is for those Americans living in Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the UAE, and Yemen. This follows last Saturday's attack by the U.S. and Israel on Iran and the retaliatory action taken by the Islamic Republic. Across the region, the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait, all home to U.S. military bases, say they intercepted missiles fired towards them. U.S. President Donald Trump says that the big wave of strikes against Iran is yet to come. Trump added that the war could last 4 weeks and said his troops were a little ahead of schedule. In an interview with the New York Post, Trump said the possibility of American troops in Iran is not entirely off the table. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith urged Jamaicans in the Middle East to exercise vigilance and to shelter in place as conditions may require. The minister says the government remains accessible to Jamaicans who may have emergencies. This morning on the front page, we're being joined by the High Commissioner to India, focusing on the impact of the attacks in the areas that Jamaicans are located. He is Jason Hall, Jamaican High Commissioner for India, accredited to Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Singapore. And he's also Ambassador Designate to the UAE and Qatar. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. You can hear us well?
Yes, I'm hearing you clear.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, first of all, if you could, Ambassador Hall, give us an update on what's happening on the ground. What are you hearing from Jamaicans in the Middle Eastern countries?
So we've managed to make contact with a number of the Jamaicans there on the ground, and thankfully, by all indications, everyone is safe. We have no injuries or fatalities, in spite of some very heavy activity over the past few days. As far as we are able to gather, things have quietened down a bit from the initial start.
And Ambassador Hall, what are you hearing from them as well, how the hostilities have affected day-to-day activities for them?
Well, as you can well imagine, hearing explosions in close proximity to you, very loud explosions, seeing the activity in the sky, it's very unsettling. Persons are very worried. However, it should be noted that the UAE has been very effective in intercepting the missiles and drones that have been fired. I was just looking over a news report, and it indicated that over 1,500 missiles and drones have been launched from Iran over the past 4 days. And in the case of UAE, 93% of those have been intercepted. So of the 1,500, they say that approximately half of them were fired on UAE.
We understand as well, Ambassador, that some Jamaicans have been in contact with you, submitting their details to ensure they're accounted for in the event of an evacuation becoming necessary. How many of them have reached out to you?
So this is a critical first step in mobilizing. It's ascertaining where everyone is.
Yes.
Getting their precise information. And so far, we have heard from 138 citizens. This, we feel, is not the total. So we're urging persons to continue to register. We have provided an email address, which is mincon-jhpindia@mfaft.gov.jm. I'm going to repeat it. MINCON-JHCINDIA.
Ambassador Hall?
Yes, I lost you there.
Right, at India.
So I'll just start again from the beginning.
Sure.
MINCON-JHC India at mfaft.gov.jm. I've also been sharing my personal cell number with individuals, which is 9188-2626-4363.
And what sort of information goes into a form like this, or, an email that they're sending to you in relation to an evacuation?
You keep on mentioning evacuation. That's not indicated at this time, because as you are aware, there is a advisory to shelter in place. But what this information assists us in doing is getting a clear sense of where people are. So we need their name, various forms of contact, whether it be email or telephone, their physical address, their passport details, and whether they have any dependents.
At Ambassador Hall, you said 138 have so far provided that sort of information to you. Do you know in general, though, across the Middle Eastern countries about how many Jamaicans are living and working there? For example, we spoke with an English teacher yesterday in Kuwait, and she says about 70 teachers from Jamaica are there. But across the Middle Eastern countries, do you have any idea of how many Jamaicans are living and working there?
Well, this has been a challenge pretty much everywhere because Jamaicans do not tend to register when they're traveling to these areas. So we do not have a clear sense as to how many people are there. We saw a survey that was done previously that gave us a count of 165 persons. However, it was clear that some of those persons represented households of 3 or 4 people. So this exercise is hoped to get a more comprehensive and detailed number of persons that are here.
Let's take the break and come right back. We're speaking with Ambassador Hall as the situation unfolds in the Middle East and how Jamaicans are affected and how he and his team are making the preparations to assist Jamaicans as best as is possible under the circumstances.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
7:30.
In today's economy, smart investments matter more than ever. And real estate, it's one of the best you can make. But success starts with knowledge and regulation. That's where the Real Estate Training Institute comes in. Whether you're buying, selling, or starting a career in real estate, make sure you're trained and certified. Invest in yourself. Contact the Real Estate Training Institute today. Visit reb.gov.jm to get started.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special.
Hello.
Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
You're with the family.
Welcome back. It's Nationwide this morning. Jamaican High Commissioner for India, accredited to Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Singapore. He's also ambassador designate to the UAE and Qatar. His Excellency Jason Hall is with us. Ambassador Hall, good morning again.
Good morning.
Right. So, you've said to us that, listen, based on the instructions issued to all citizens in the affected countries, a stay-in-place order that, of course, Jamaicans, based on what you know, are abiding by the edict. Based on your understanding of how these things work in such situations, what is it that will follow a stay-in-place order if the situation deteriorates over the coming days and weeks?
Well, that's speculative, but it's very difficult to tell. Certainly, if there is an escalation, people may have to resort to finding bomb shelters specifically. I believe a number of the persons there live in skyrise buildings, and I see where instructions are in place for them to, in the event of massive bombing, that they go into their basements.
And
we advise further, though, that, it's a threefold advisory. One, you shelter in place, stocking up on food, water, medicine, battery-operated equipment, pretty much similar to what you would do, say, for example, in a hurricane. We also urge the registration of your presence, as we discussed earlier, and just to be prepared overall for an emergency.
Yes. You would notice that we have asked you questions about evacuation, and you've made clear that, listen, that's not in play yet. But the reason we ask is because that's at the center of the conversation here among Jamaicans who have loved ones or friends over there, or who just know that there's a Jamaican over there, so they're wondering. So we put the issue to you, and you put clarity or context on the matter. And it is needful to speak about that, because what we know, of course, is that only a select few airlines are still operating in the area. I believe Emirates said they've resumed some service.
And Etihad.
And Etihad. But for the most part, there is no airlift. So even if persons wanted to leave, Ambassador, they have to stay in place, right?
Precisely. When you're speaking about evacuation, if the airspace is closed, there are not many options left for evacuation. Certainly, people will not be able to travel by road. It's not advisable. And similarly, for those who are near ports, are not necessarily going to be safe getting out by sea either.
And so, I've seen, and not everybody's fortunate like some of the super wealthy. There's a story on making the rounds in the international press this morning, Ambassador, about the mega star footballer Cristiano Ronaldo's private jet seen leaving where he is in the Middle East. But there are some other very wealthy people who've sent videos of them and their families in the same underground areas you're talking about, in parking lots, beds in underground parking lots, people having to make do. And I'm sure you want to communicate to Jamaicans here who have loved ones over there, who they can't contact, that the wealthy and others are in basically the same situations. Stay in place and find accommodations as best as you can until the situation improves, or until the directives from their host countries or from their consulates or embassies, until that advice changes, eh?
Precisely. And it should all, as I said earlier, most countries are handling their air defenses very effectively. There has been few reports of missiles actually striking targets, or drones striking targets. Whilst there have been some, the majority of them have been intercepted.
And I know that at this point, as you say, you talk about the data and the fact that Jamaicans don't normally register when they are going to places. So you really don't have a definitive idea of how many of your countrymen and women are scattered across these places. Even at this stage, how do you think that situation can be rectified to be able to have a handle on just how many people you will have to make contact with in situations like the one unfolding in the Middle East at this time?
So fortunately, most people are connected, and Mission has been actively reaching out to various groups. I've been added to a number of WhatsApp groups, and I've been able to communicate directly with a number of people, and we are relying on them to also share that information. And hopefully those listening to this program will also be prompted to register and provide that information.
Has the conversation been had, Ambassador, in those WhatsApp groups about if the green light is given at any point that they can leave? People have said that they want to.
I haven't heard anybody, talking about leaving. I think, we're just all worried to see what's going to happen next. We're all waiting to see what's happening next. Obviously, it's very unpleasant, and I imagine people would want to be out of there. But from all accounts, everybody is united and together. And they, one of the things that's so remarkable about Jamaica is their resilience. And we here at Mission are certainly grateful for the cooperation we've received thus far with the persons who have shared their information. And we encourage everyone else to do so.
And Ambassador, it's important to also ask you, as I speak about coordination and cooperation, the host countries and their diplomatic services are the area of government responsible for these diplomatic contacts. What goes into speaking to your colleagues at this time as various countries worry about the welfare of their citizens caught in this situation?
So naturally, we are in dialogue with multiple parties, both in terms with the missions of those countries here on the ground in India, as well as other countries who have co-nationals in the region. We are basically looking at what options can be had, what opportunities there are, what plans are being made. But as yet, nothing is firm because the situation is still quite volatile. And it requires everyone to shelter in place.
And I guess the final thing to ask you this morning, Ambassador, for those listening in and those who've been unable to reach directly those who they know who are in these spaces, you're encouraging them to reach out to you if they can, so you can be that bridge for the communication. And those who just want some assurance this morning, Ambassador, that look, my people are okay, and if they need the help, then the authorities exist to provide that assistance. Just speak to that before you go.
Yes, you can contact the embassy. I have been able to contact everyone that has provided their numbers, either in the group chats, or individually. So you should not have a problem getting through to your loved ones.
Very well.
There are alternative communication platforms other than WhatsApp, such. I'm sorry, are you hearing me?
Hear you loud and clear. You said alternative to WhatsApp.
Right, like Signal. There are a number of different ones. They don't come to mind right now, but Signal,
Telegram, many portals. Yes.
Exactly, all of those. So in the event that you're having difficulty on WhatsApp, you could perhaps sign up on one of the other ones. But as to date, I have had no difficulty getting through to anyone.
Very well. Well, we leave it there. Thank you for your time. All the best to you and the team supporting the mission over there in India. And as you coordinate across the various countries under your charge, we hope that everyone who needs your support can access you freely, and you can provide whatever support you can under the circumstances. Thank you this morning, Ambassador.
Thank you for having me, and rest assured we're doing everything within our power to ensure the safety of our citizens at this very challenging time.
Thank you.
Jamaican High Commissioner for India, credited to Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, and Ambassador designate to the UAE and Qatar, Ambassador Jason Hall. Break time, back after these.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
7:42.
Hawkeye expresses heartfelt sympathy to all Jamaicans impacted by Hurricane Melissa. As we recover together, we remain committed to securing what matters most. The temperature by Hawkeye is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Get ready, because we're having 3 days of deals. Visit us in Crossroads from this Thursday to Saturday for incredible savings on your favorite items. Need a gift for someone? It's the perfect time. Or sprucing up your space? Now's your chance. Put fun in your shopping with 3 days of deals. So don't wait, or these savings may pass you by.
Super Center, it's a life.
It's a lifestyle.
Every day, Rosie has a glass of fruit drink with breakfast, an energy drink on the way to work, a flavored water with lunch, and 2 glasses of soda with dinner, which adds up to more than 50 teaspoons of sugar a day. And all that extra sugar could bring on obesity. Are we drinking ourselves sick? 71% of Jamaicans support a tax on sugary drinks. Help tackle obesity and protect our children's future. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special. The Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
With the Family Club, members get early access to our documentaries before anyone else. Some of your favorite segments, including Cliff Says, What's on My Mind, Cover Story, and others will now be a click away inside the Family Club. There are 3 tiers of membership. First, Bronze, the Family Insider, behind-the-scenes access, Monday motivational videos, members-only chats, and on-air birthdays and anniversary shoutouts.
Second, Silver, Nationwide VIP. Breaking news alerts, exclusive documentaries, quizzes, personal milestones celebrated on air, and weekly family roll call mentions. Oh, and for our biggest supporters,
our gold category, elite listener, full archive access, early releases, private studio tours, live show experiences, personalized birthday videos, and exclusive live streams. From historic election coverage to lifetime, impact, Jamaican milestones, and rare archive content. This is nationwide like you've never seen it before.
Join the family, support Nationwide 90 FM, the station that informs, entertains, and educates. Visit patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. That's patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Nationwide Family Club, where you are family, because we see you as family.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Now, 4 months after the passage of Hurricane Melissa, 13 schools across the island are still being used as emergency shelters. That's according to President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA Mark Malava. Speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday, Malava acknowledged the difficult circumstances facing shelterees, but he argued that the prolonged arrangement is disrupting the education system. According to Malava, there's been about 2 or 3 missed relocation deadlines set by the Minister of Local Government. He's calling on the authorities to urgently relocate persons displaced by Hurricane Melissa who remain housed on school compounds so that the institutions can fully return to normal operations. For response, we're being joined this morning by the Minister of Local Government, Desmond McKenzie. Good morning to you.
Morning. Who's this? Donna. Donna, I'm George, student George Davis. Morning.
Oh, yeah, I call student. I don't understand. You come and disrespect me already, sir. Good morning. All right, Tom. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so let's begin here. The JTA president, his numbers, 13 schools still being used as emergency shelters. That's the number, Minister?
Yeah, around. I think we're down to 12 now. Based on the meeting I had on Friday with the disaster coordinator.
Sorry, Minister.
Just before you go on, Minister, don't know if you have a radio on in the background. We're getting a feedback.
No, I'm okay now. Go ahead.
Right. Go ahead with the
Saying
numbers.
I think we're down to about 13. The last meeting I had was on Thursday when we met with all the parish disaster coordinators along with ODPEM in St. Anne to look at the state of shelters and where we are. I'm not going to deny that we do have shelteries in schools. But the good thing about it is that the numbers we have is not interfering with the operations of schools. The largest shelter we have would be Petersfield, with about 40 families, and they are not integrated within the regular school. They are at the back of the school in classrooms that are not being used, that was damaged, and we have created a sort of a boundary that eliminates interaction between students and the shelteries at Petersfield. We have not been getting any complaints from any of the schools. As a matter of fact, the shelters that are populated is about 3 shelters that are populated with more than, say, 10 persons. Some of the shelters have about 2 or 3 persons in them. And we have been able to work with the schools in separating. So while I will admit that we still have numbers in the schools operating based on the reports that we are getting, and one of the good things about it that some of the shelter managers are employees of the schools that are operating as shelters. Now, let me give an update as to where we are going now. We are now working jointly with Food for the Poor to construct 50 homes in Petersfield. That work has started to move those shelteries from Petersfield School. And once those work has been completed, then those shelteries will be relocated from the school into there. We're now working with McJC for some of these houses that are coming in sometime this month to be used. So it is the numbers in the school has no impact on education at all.
Stick up in, Minister. You say the McJC is bringing in the houses, and you've given somewhat of a timeline. You said by the end of the month those should come. The food for the poor houses under construction. What's the timeline for the completion of those?
Well, we're building 50 houses, and we're putting in various infrastructure, light, sewage, water, fixing the road. So that is going to take us a couple months for that to be completed. They are working around the clock. But the thing is, George, that the school, Petersfield shelter, the shelteries there do not depend on the facility of the school. Water, light is not provided by the school. They have standby generator there. We have a direct connection from GAPS to that shelter there in Petersfield. So I want to give the president of the JTA the assurance that the government is not sitting down. We have been able over the last 4 weeks to drastically reduce the numbers of shelteries in schools. And I want to commend a number of churches that have come forward, especially in St. Elizabeth and in Westmoreland, that has offered their church facility to house these persons. So I am saying to the country, saying to the JTA, that we have not had any reports of disruption, any interaction between the shelteries and the school population. And if they have such report, they can bring it to our attention.
What's the number you're coming from? Because I think that paints a picture better. So you're giving an impression of how many people are at Petersfield. That's the biggest population of shelteries, and other places that have a few. But what's the number? What number are you coming from compared to where you are now?
We're coming from close to over 2,000 or more persons in schools across the country. We're down to less than 250 across the 19 shelters that we have across the country.
Still occupied.
Being used. Right. So the majority of those shelters will be found. The majority of schools, let me just give a breakdown. The majority of schools that will be that have students that have shelteries is Westmoreland with 7, St. James with 6. They carry the bulk of the number of schools that are being used. And let me just give you some numbers so you can have a greater appreciation. Between St. James, their numbers of persons in shelters in schools is 27. That is right across the entire St. James. in Westmoreland, across the number of schools that are being used as shelters, is 85. 85 persons are in schools in these two parishes.
So 112 across those two parishes.
Right. So in St. Elizabeth, we have 2 schools with 2 persons in the school.
114.
Hanover has 1 school with 5 persons.
119.
In the school. So those are the parishes. So it's about 119 shelteries, right? Across the parishes.
And you're coming down from 2,000 and odd, you say?
Down from over 2,000 and odd. And 3 weeks ago, the numbers were much higher because we have been able now, based on the programs that we need, that we have been rolling out, where when persons can find someone to go and stay with, we make provisions for that. There are persons who are taking responsibility for paying rent for those persons. But in the case of some of these persons, George, based on the survey that we have done, and we are not just doing things without having the empirical data to back it up. The SDC is out there doing a check on all the shelteries based on what they are telling us, so we can tell you how many children are out of school, etc. So when we do these surveys and things, you have some cases where the persons, they have nowhere to go, they have no relatives. So government cannot put them out on the road, and that is not going to happen. And that is why the interaction between the shelter managers and the parish disaster coordinators with the schools have been very good, and I've been updating Minister Morris Dixon on every steps that we are taking.
And just to repeat, in no shelter is are the resources that the shelteries are using diverting from the resources of the school?
No, not at all. We provide the resources to feed them. In cases, we would provide standby generators. We get our connection. So it is not a question that they are there and they are a strain on the resources of the school. They are not.
And at none of these shelters as well, Minister, is their occupation there affecting teaching and learning?
Not at all. Not that I know of. And that, as I said before, we meet almost every week to get updates from our shelter manager and our parish disaster coordinators. The last meeting I had was at Bettino in St. Ann last Wednesday. We had spent a whole day looking at where we are and looking now how we are going to approach the new hurricane season coming up in June.
So the claim that the Ministry of Local Government has missed 2 or 3 deadlines to move people out of shelters, it's not quite telling the truth, because you have consistently reduced the number of people in shelters, you've said over time.
We have been doing that, George. And remember now, we are constructing homes for the persons in Petersfield, because that is where the greatest demand is in terms of shelteries who have nowhere to go.
Question for you. For those people, for those shelteries, for those persons who were shelteries, who you've taken out of shelters and are covering the rent for how long does this arrangement last?
Well, we have advised them that we are not going beyond 3 months, and we are not fully at 3 months yet. There may be cases where we'll have to make some concessions in terms of extending that, and we are prepared to do that, George.
But at the same time, I just want to get it clear. For those you are paying rent for, more than likely, the rent will stop when the government has managed to build somewhere that they can put them. Okay.
Precisely. Now, when their homes have been, put back, and there are some, George, who we are working with to put back their houses so that they can go back there. So we are having an active program, George, and I would urge the JTA to work with us. If there's a difficulty, it should have been easier for the JTA, for the president, to call to get some information and to point out the areas of concerns. So I would love for him to say what are the difficulties, where the dislocation is coming in. Because I heard him speaking about
He mentioned safety concerns.
No, but there are, and this is the point I'm making. He has to tell me where are those concerns and what are the issues. I heard him mention primary schools. In all the primary schools, I just gave you the numbers that we have. All the primary schools put together don't have 10 shelteries in the primary schools. Based on the numbers I just gave you.
All right.
Okay? So I'm in a position to tell you what we have in church hall, what we have there, what we have in community centers, right? So we are actively working in terms of the relocation and also to put persons in proper home situation. You know, and that is just, you know, that is it. That is it, you know. That is it.
The Easter term starts in April. So by April, based on the work program that you have going on now, Minister, we should have cleared out shelteries, you think?
But, well, for instance, the construction at Petersfield, we might still, what they are doing is to, what we have agreed on is to build some units and move persons out. So if they have completed, say, 5 or 10, we're going to be moving out a couple of families and put them in while the other constructions take place.
Understood. All right.
And what's the price tag, Minister, attached to the arrangement to pay rent for those who have been displaced?
Well, it is a price tag between anywhere from 30,000, 40,000. I don't think we have exceeded 40,000 or 50,000.
Meaning, how many millions have you spent on rent so far? Are you going to reach $1 million?
No, we haven't reached $1 million yet because it is not quite a number of persons that have taken it up. I don't have that number here with me, but it is not anything significant that I am going to get to, you know, to lose a night's sleep over. We have been very frugal in what we're doing in terms of that, and where persons are able to as I said before, to go back. You know, one of the good things about it, George, and let me say this, there are a number of persons in shelters in the schools who are not there on a daily basis. They go to work and come back after school is finished, George.
And the children who are there go to school as well?
And the children who are there, what the SDC is now doing, in some of the shelters where the children are not going to school, we find out why they're not going to school. And we have been making provisions by getting uniforms for them and books and getting them into school, right? Getting them into schools. And persons who can't help themselves, who we find in the shelters, we have replaced them and put them in the infirmaries between St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland.
Yes. Very well. Thank you for your time this morning. That's all the time we have.
Thank you. Thank you, George, and thank you, Tana.
Local government minister there, Desmond McKenzie. You see him come on and I say, hello, who this? When lyrics, when tune drop in him, when tune lick him, I see him, I'm going to say, yeah? All right, thank you. Across Jamaica up next. Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales. For a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:01.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, March 3, 2026. In Manchester, the teaching and learning experience at Homewood Technical High School has been given a near $200 million boost. This as 11 newly constructed classrooms were officially opened on Monday. Principal Hydron Mikulski says the Education Ministry is also funding the repair of buildings damaged by Hurricane Melissa.
The Ministry of Education invested close to $200 million into the construction of this project, roadways, etc. They also have committed a tidy sum towards our restoration efforts as it relates to restoring our institution, not only to pre-Melissa, Hurricane Melissa, but to a stronger pre-Melissa experience.
Hydron Mikulski, principal of Homewood Technical High School. In Kingston, Kingston Public Hospital KPH will be 250 years old this year. The facility was established on December 14, 1776, making it the oldest fully functional public hospital in the country. KPH is also the largest multidisciplinary hospital in the public health system and the foremost trauma center on the island. The hospital has undergone numerous phases of expansion over the years and now boasts 475 beds, frequently operating above 100% occupancy. The Accident and Emergency Department manages between 200 and 300 patients daily, totaling up to 90,000 per year. KPH handles some 2,000 cases at outpatient clinics each day and performs roughly 90,000 surgical procedures per year. In commemoration of the milestone anniversary, KPH has launched a year-long series of events under the theme 250 Years of Healing Jamaica. Scheduled activities began with a church service in February. The others will include the observance of World Kidney Day and the launch of a new blood mobile unit on March 11. Participation in Guardian Group's 5K Night Run Walk on May 23, a health fair at Sir William Grant Park in downtown Kingston on July 9, the 19th Annual Research and Clinical Conference in November, an anniversary Grand Gala Ball on December 11, and an anniversary cake cutting ceremony on December 14. Finally, in across Jamaica, Jamaica is preparing to launch a national action plan on women, peace, and security, aligned with the global framework that recognizes women's role in conflict prevention and resolution. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, made the announcement on Monday. She was addressing the opening ceremony for the Regional Women Peace and Security Symposium in New Kingston. The 3-day event is being hosted by the Jamaica Defence Force in collaboration with the Canadian Directorate of Military Training and Cooperation at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Senator Johnson-Smith says a consultative interministerial meeting on the action plan is to be convened at the ministry before the end of the month. Senator Johnson-Smith explained that ministries, departments, and agencies with mandates under the WPS agenda, together with civil society groups, will convene to explore how the government can further institutionalize a gender-responsive approach to security governance, strengthen systems to protect women and girls from gender-based violence, cybercrime, and human trafficking, while promoting women's meaningful participation in peace building and security decision-making. And that's it for Across Jamaica.
This station raised me. It gave me a voice. And if Nationwide has ever meant something to you, come on in. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
CFOs and senior decision makers across the Caribbean, this is your moment. The Caribbean CFO Summit goes live March 24 and 25, 2026. 2 days, 13 CPD accredited hours, one powerful virtual gathering of the region's leading finance minds. This is where strategy meets innovation, where restructuring meets execution, where finance leaders prepare for what the next decade demands. Registration closes March 24. Do not sit this one out. Secure your seat now at CaribbeanCFOSummit.com.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to HR@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Attention all data protection enthusiasts. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM every Tuesday at 8:20 a.m. and Thursday at 8:25 a.m. for a new program, Data Protection Matters. Starting June 4, 2024, join us as we delve into crucial topics that will keep you informed and compliant. Data Protection Matters is hosted by Chuck Cameron, founder of Design Privacy, your trusted partner in data protection. Don't miss out. That's every Tuesday morning at 8:20 and every Thursday at 8:25 a.m. Stay protected, stay informed with Nationwide 90 FM and Design Privacy.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special. The Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
With the Family Club, members get early access to our documentaries before anyone else. Some of your favorite segments, including Cliff Says, What's on My Mind, Cover Story, and others, will now be a click away inside the Family Club. There are 3 tiers of membership. First, Bronze, the Family Insider, behind-the-scenes access, Monday motivational videos, members-only chats, and on-air birthdays and anniversary shoutouts.
Second, Silver, Nationwide VIP. Breaking news alerts, exclusive documentaries, quizzes, personal milestones celebrated on air, and weekly family roll call mentions. Oh, and for our biggest supporters,
our gold category, elite listener, full archive access, early releases, private studio tours, live show experiences, personalized birthday videos, and exclusive live streams. From historic election coverage to Lifetime, Impact, Jamaican milestones, and rare archive content. This is Nationwide like you've never seen it before.
Join the family, support Nationwide 90 FM, the station that informs, entertains, and educates. Visit patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. That's patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Nationwide Family Club, where you are family, because we see you as family.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Now, the Mary C. Cole Hall at UEMONA is hosting its annual lecture under the theme Give to Gain Leadership in Service. The keynote address will be made by Senator and Minister of State and the Minister of Education, Vocation Training and Innovation, Digital Transformation and Information of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Laverne King. For more on this year's staging, we're being joined by Chairwoman of Mary C. Cole Hall, Sharika Spence, Senator and Minister of State and the Minister of Education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Laverne King, and Student Services and Development Manager at Mary C. Cole Hall, Dr. Nadine Spence. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning, Tana. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good.
All right. So we have on Sharika as well.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having us.
And Minister King on as well.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's begin with you, Dr. Spence. Talk to us some more about this event that's coming up.
Well, it's our annual lecture. Mary C. Cole Hall was established in 1957, officially opened in 1958 at the University of the West Indies. And it's the only all-woman hall of residence at UWI. And part of what we do at Mary C. Cole Hall is talk to women about their leadership and the focus of that leadership as service. And so I am extremely proud of Senator King, who was my student, my first-year student, who came on Hall and decided that she was firmly focused on being a politician, a member of parliament, a senator, or a minister. She knew from early that she wanted to go into politics, and Mary C. Cole Hall was the right place for her. Mm-hmm. And I think we nurtured that talent and helped it to grow. So I think her success now is our success. It's the success of Mary C. Cole Hall, the success of the University of the West Indies as a place that also produces women in leadership and women who are women of service and of excellence. Mm-hmm. And so we invited Laverne back. Her party just won the elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. She was central to that victory. She's been part of her party, working very, very hard to ensure that they brought home a victory for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so I'm very proud, and I wanted her to come back and share her story and to talk about that journey to leadership. And the theme for International Women's Day, which is Sunday coming, is Give to Gain. And it speaks about the need for there to be more effort put into encouraging more gender equality, more women in leadership, more women in service, just to generally improve the lives of women, and especially young women, who are our focus at Mary C. Cole Hall.
Mm-hmm. And when is the lecture, Dr. Spence?
It's Wednesday, the 4th of March at 6 p.m. at Mary C. Cole Hall.
Oh, so it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay. So Wednesday, that's tomorrow, March 4, at what time?
At 6 p.m.
6 p.m. at Mary C. Cole Hall. Now, for your part, Sharika Spence, you're the chairwoman at Mary C. Cole Hall. Talk to us about what the theme means to you. Give to gain, leadership, and service.
So, Give to gain, leadership, and service, we wanted to tie in with the International Women's Day theme, which is Give to gain, and to kind of focus on service per se, especially being a student leader, leading the Hall Committee, a Hall of Women. We want to ensure that the idea of leadership is not just focused on position, but about true service, about true contribution when we give our time or effort or compassion. Because this week, it's really for equalize. It's for us to celebrate our legacy. It's for us to be a part of the organizing and the planning. It's a space for us to express our creativity as well. And, to celebrate all women who would have paved the way for us. Being one of our guest lecturer, the Honorable Laverne King, which I'm so happy we'll be having you to speak for our lecture. So it's really a journey for us to respect resilience and women in leadership at a regional and international level.
Mm-hmm. And Senator King, for your part, what does it feel like to be invited to come back to your school home to deliver such a lecture?
It's very exciting. It's almost a full circle moment, to be honest. I shared this morning with some of my mates from Mary C. Cole during the time, my sisters, and they were saying, we were just in those lectures sitting a couple of years ago. And so for me, it's particularly exciting. I see it as a view of giving back and helping other young women to understand how to navigate from where they are now, if they have intention to get into national politics. And whilst it's focuses mostly on women, it is my delivery.
Your line coming in a bit choppy though, Senator King. Not sure why. Yeah. If you can shift a little bit, or if you have on your headsets.
No, I do not. Maybe let me try.
Sure. Right. So, Senator King and Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Vocation Training and Innovation, Digital Transformation and Information of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Laverne King on the line. She will be delivering that keynote address at the Mary C. Cole Hall annual lecture that's coming up tomorrow at 6 on the UWI Mona campus. Go ahead now, Senator.
Yes, I was saying that it is a full circle moment for me because it was not too long ago that I sat in these lectures at CECOL myself. And so I'm excited to be sharing my journey and how CECOL was a major part of that. And my experience at UWI truly influenced my path. And Ms. Spence is correct. When I came to the hall, I said, I'm going to get into politics when I'm finished with my degree. It's my next step. And so I'm very happy to be sharing with the women and the students in general, because whilst my presentation will be focused on women in leadership, there will be lessons for just people, anybody, both male and students on campus who have the inclination, desire to get into leadership positions and more so into politics.
And what do you as well take away from the theme, give to gain, leadership and service? And without giving away a whole lot, what should persons expect from your address tomorrow?
I'd say this, one of the things that I learned when I was on campus, you need little things like a flyer, you need little things, a t-shirt done. And there are persons that I met here who became lifelong friends who give to me not only like a financial contribution, but also advice that went a long way. And so I will touch a little bit more on how those contributions helped and why it's important to form meaningful relationships.
So Dr. Spence or Sharika, to this question, is this, specific to the girls at Mary C. Cole, or is it open to the rest of the campus, and will it also be streamed?
It's open to everybody. It's open to the campus. It's open to, because I've sent out invitations to people outside of Kingston, outside of UWI. And I'm everybody's asking me to get it streamed, so we're going to be working on that today. Sharika will figure it out.
Yes.
So we're going to be working on the streaming. But it is an important thing I wanted to say today is that at UWI, at CECOL, we have a program called Elect Her, which was done in partnership with a Washington-based organization called Running Start. And to elect her, women in politics volunteered at the time that Laverne was a student to mentor some of our women. And Laverne's mentor was Dr. Marcia Forbes. And I know they built a lasting relationship. So I know Laverne perhaps don't want me to tell you all of those little secrets. But I'm very happy that while she was on campus, we poured into her so that she could be this woman that she is today.
And absolutely. If I could jump in there,
go right ahead.
I hope I can. Dr. Forbes was a major part of my development. I know that a lot of persons don't understand at time how important mentorship is. But I'm Vincentian, she's Jamaican, and I tell you, she really took me as one of her own, and to this day we still keep in touch, and I'm forever grateful to the knowledge that she imparted on me. And I can say for sure that her mentorship meant and still means the world to me.
Yeah. And as we wrap, Dr. Spence, when Sharika, who has been pressed into service about that streaming link, please do send it to us here at Nationwide so we can take a watch of Senator King's presentation tomorrow. But giving the final word to you, Sharika.
Oh, thank you for that. But yeah, we look forward to tomorrow. We're really honored to have Senator King with us, and seeing women like her, it's inspirational. It reminds us women who live here on the hall that leadership is attainable. Reaching your fullest potential is attainable, regardless of the barriers that we sometimes experience as women in a society. It is attainable, and that's what tomorrow will focus on, leadership in service. And we implore and invite everyone to promote and to support and to just be a part of the experience and to hear the most wonderful and honorable Laverne King speak tomorrow. Yeah, so thank you so much for having us and allowing us to speak on our lecture for tomorrow. We look forward to a great day.
And thank you so much for joining us here on NTM. Chairwoman at Mary C. Cole Hall, Sharika Spence, Student Services and Development Manager at Mary C. Cole Hall, Dr. Nadine Spence, and Senator and Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Vocation Training and Innovation, Digital Transformation and Information in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Laverne King. Ladies, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So it's the Mary C. Cole Hall at UWIMONA hosting its annual lecture under the theme Give to Gain Leadership and Service, happening tomorrow at the hall at UWIMONA campus at 6 p.m. We take a break and come back with more.
Alson Pest Control Services, the pest control experts you can trust. Contact us at 876-338-6056. The time, courtesy of Alson Pest Control Services, is
8:23.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
26 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 26 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 20 degrees Celsius.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Picture this, a boardroom, leadership team around the table, and everyone looks exhausted. Not the usual business exhaustion, deadlines, targets, quarterly pressures. This was different. This was the exhaustion of waiting for something to go wrong, waiting for the breach they could not handle, waiting for the regulator's letter they could not answer. This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I am your host, Chuku Emeka Cameron. Today, I want to tell you a story. A real story. Details anonymized, of course, but the lessons are universal. This is a story of a mid-sized financial services firm that went from constant firefighting to confident compliance in 6 months. 6 months, not 6 years. Not someday when we have a budget. 6 months of focused, systematic work. And I'm sharing it because their before picture, it probably looks a lot like where you are right now. Their pain points are the pain points I hear from organizations across the Caribbean every single week. But here's the thing, they changed, which means you can too. Let me walk you through what happened. When we first met this team, they had just survived 2 near misses with data incidents in the previous year. I say survived deliberately, because that's what it felt like to them. Survival. Each time something happened, it was chaos. Nobody knew who was responsible for what. Documentation was scattered across different departments, some in shared drives, some in email threads, some in people's heads. Policies existed on paper but were not followed in practice. The compliance lead put it bluntly. She said, "We were constantly reacting. Something would happen, we'd scramble to fix it, and then we'd move on without changing anything fundamental. It felt like we were just waiting for the big one." Sound familiar? Let me break down what we found when we looked under the hood. First, no centralized data inventory or record of processing. They didn't even know what personal data they held. Different departments collected different things. Customer data here, employee data there, vendor information somewhere else. Nobody had the full picture. Second, inconsistent consent practices. One business unit handled consent one way, another did it completely differently. Marketing had their approach, operations had theirs. There was no standard, no consistency, no confidence that they were getting it right. Third, no documented breach response procedure. If a breach happened, when a breach happened, there was no playbook, no clear chain of command, no timeline, no communication templates, just panic and improvisation. Fourth, Staff training that happened once during onboarding and never again. People joined the company, sat through a compliance presentation, ticked a box, and that was it. Years could pass without any refresher, any update, any practical application. Fifth, vendor contracts that hadn't been reviewed for data protection in years. Some didn't have data processing agreements at all. Others had agreements that were completely outdated, written before the Jamaican Data Protection Act even existed. No, I'm not sharing this to shame them. I'm sharing this because this is normal. This is what most organizations look like before they get serious about data protection. The question is, what do you do about it? Here's what we did together, month by month. Month 1 and 2 were about discovery and assessment. Before you can fix anything, you have to understand what you're working with. We mapped every data flow in the organization. Where does personal data come in? Through what channels? Customer applications, employee onboarding, website forms, third-party integrations. Where does it go after that? Who touches it along the way? How long is it kept? Where is it stored? For many team members, this was the first time they had seen the full picture of how data moved through their business. The mapping exercise alone was revelatory. People kept saying, I had no idea we collected that, or I did not know that system connected that one. You can't protect what you don't understand. That's why we started here. Month 3 was gap analysis and roadmap. With the data map in hand, we could identify specific compliance gaps. We found 23 of them. Some were quick fixes, a policy that needed updating, a form that needed a content checkbox. Others required process redesign, entire workflows that needed to be rebuilt with privacy in mind. We prioritized by risk. Not everything is equally urgent. We asked, what could cause the most damage if it went wrong? What would hurt customers? What would attract regulatory attention? What would damage trust? Those issues went to the top of the list. Months 4 and 5 were about implementation. This is where the real work happened. New policies, not boilerplate templates downloaded from the internet, but policies that actually affected how the organization operated. Updated contracts, working with legal to get proper data processing agreements in place with every vendor and that touched personal data, documented procedures, so that when something happens, people know exactly what to do, who to call, what decisions to make, and staff training, not a 1-hour slide deck that everyone ignores. Practical workshops where people work through real scenarios. A customer calls and asks for all the data you hold on them. What do you do? A vendor reports a breach that might affect your data. Walk me through the next 72 hours. That's how you build competence, not through lectures, through practice. Month 6 was testing and refinement. We ran tabletop exercises, simulated incidents, pressure tested the new procedures to see where they broke down. And they did break down, in small ways. Communication chains that had gaps. We found these weaknesses and fixed them before they mattered, before a real incident forced us to discover them the hard way. The key insight from this entire process: compliance isn't a destination, it's a capability you build. You're not trying to reach a finish line, you're trying to build an organization that can handle whatever comes. 6 months later, the transformation was measurable. Their compliance risk score on our assessment framework reduced by 8%. 80%! That's not a marginal improvement. That's some fundamental shift in their exposure. Staff competency and data protection knowledge checks went from 31% to 94%. 31 to 94. That's the difference between an organization where most people don't understand the rules and an organization where almost everyone does. But honestly, the numbers don't capture the feeling. The compliance lead told us recently, I actually enjoy board meetings now. When directors ask about data protection, I have answers. I have evidence. I have confidence. That's the transformation that matters, not just metrics, the confidence, the ability to sleep at night, the knowledge that you're not just waiting for disaster. If you're listening to this and thinking, I want that for my organization, that's exactly what we help people build. Our free webinar later this month walks through how to assess where you are and create your own roadmap. Looking back at this transformation, 3 things made the difference. First, leadership buy-in. The The CEO made data protection a strategic priority, not a compliance afterthought. Second, cross-functional involvement. This wasn't an IT project. It wasn't a legal project. It was something the compliance team did alone in a corner. Every department had skin in the game. Third, focus on culture, not just policies. Policies are necessary, but they are not sufficient. That's the shift from policies to culture, from documents to habits, from compliance as burden to compliance as capability. No, your journey starts somewhere. Every organization's path looks different. Some need more help with technical controls, others with training and culture change. Which category will you be in? If you are ready to take the first step, join us on February 26th for our free webinar, Data Protection Priorities. We'll walk you through how to assess your current state, identify your gaps, and build a roadmap that actually works. No jargon, no fluff, just practical guidance. And here's my question for you. What's the biggest data protection challenge your organization is facing right now? Let me know on our social channels. I read every comment and I'd love to help. This has been Data Protection Matters. I'm Chukwuemeka Cameron. Stop firefighting. Start building. Your transformation is waiting.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust. From the world to Jamaica, CFL delivers. Global reach, Caribbean reliability. Call 876-320-2263 or visit shipcfl.com. The time by CFL Jamaica is
8:34.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special. The Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
With the Family Club, members get early access to our documentaries before anyone else. Some of your favorite segments, including Cliff Says, What's on My Mind, Cover Story, and others, will now be a click away inside the Family Club. There are 3 tiers of membership. First, Runs, the Family Insider, behind-the-scenes access, Monday motivational videos, members-only chats, and on-air birthdays and anniversary shoutouts.
Second, Savor, Nationwide VIP. Breaking news alerts, exclusive documentaries, quizzes, personal milestones celebrated on air, and weekly family roll call mentions. Oh, and for our biggest supporters,
our gold category, elite listener, full archive access, early releases, private studio tours, live show experiences, personalized birthday videos, and exclusive live streams. From historic election coverage to lifetime, impact, Jamaican milestones, and rare archive content. This is nationwide like you've never seen it before.
Join the family. Support Nationwide 90 FM, the station that informs, entertains, and educates. Visit patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. That's patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Nationwide Family Club, where you are family, because we see you as family.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 90 FM. Just want to say a quick birthday shout out to Asher Marshall, coming from your father, Mark, and of course from Mom. they want to wish you a happy birthday on this day. So young Asher Marshall, it's your birthday, and mom and dad are sending all the best blessings to you, and they say that your room will be packed with gifts by the time you check at about 4 p.m. today. Yeah, man, room full of gifts. Okay, so all the presents you wanted, Asher, you're getting them today. All right, happy birthday, Asher Marshall, coming from Mom Mark, from Mom and Dad. Yeah, Daddy Mark sent the greeting for you. All right, today is World Hearing Day, and it's being recognized to raise awareness about how to prevent deafness and hearing loss and promote ear and hearing care across the world. The theme this year is From Communities to Classrooms, Hearing Care for All Children. For a discussion on the day, I'm joined by Executive Director of the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, Kimberly Marriott Blake. Good morning, Kimberly.
Good morning, George. How are you?
I am fine. It's been a long time.
I know. I was listening to that birthday shout out and said, wow, must be amazing to be Asher today.
Must be amazing to be Asher today. That's right. That's right. Absolutely so. Yeah. So, Kimberly, tell me now. So, but before we get into the further, how many children in Jamaica or people in Jamaica struggle with hearing loss or who are what would be clinically diagnosed as deaf?
You know, George, that's an interesting question and part of the reason why today is so important. The truth is, it is difficult to confirm that number. And the reason why is we have, I'm going to be cautious in how I say this because I do not want cultural ambassadors to mistake my statement.
Yes.
We are a very vibrant culture, right? Whether we are engaged in church or in events and parties and home barbecue, family just sitting at home, we generally have a very loud environment. And so hearing loss across the island, quite prevalent, we are sure, because we know statistically noisy environments, more noisy work environments as well. We do have a booming construction industry. Entertainment is a large part of who we are, and we can't negate the fact that as a city, you know, as most of our cities and our towns are quite loud. You know, it's difficult to tell you just how many people, but we do know that it is quite prevalent, but very much underreported.
Mm-hmm. You know, often you hear those stories, Kimberly, of people in schools who weren't doing well because, you know, well, people didn't know why, and they said that the child was dunce. Then you realize that, oh, the child needed glasses, and you gave the child a pair of glasses, and then that child's academic performance turned around. But I'm imagining that it's the same thing with hearing, and there are people who underperform in schools and get classified as dunce when, if they had the access to hearing services, then let me call it that, then it would be a different outcome.
Oh, for sure. One of the realities that we do have too, you know, an unfortunate part of having large classrooms is that there may be children who slip through the cracks. You will have a child who may very well get put to the side with an assumption that he just never listens or she just never listens. They constantly ignore you, when really and truly that child may be struggling to hear. And that's part of why it's so important for us to start this conversation and why the theme for this year is so critical. You know, from communities to classrooms, one of the things that we don't want people to ignore is the fact that these are individuals in your community. These are children in your classrooms who may need additional support. But it may not be taken seriously. It may be seen or assumed to just be a mischievous child, a family who have a history of ignoring people, when really and truly what really boils down to is that there is potentially a genetic hearing loss that needs to be provided with all the support that child will need, which may be a hearing aid, or it may be that they are best placed in a school for the deaf.
Yeah. And since 1938, your organization, the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, has been doing work and lobbying. Would you say that the last, let's benchmark, say 10 years, would you say that in the last 10 years you would have made satisfactory progress where your mandate is concerned?
We've continued to put immense effort into our schools for the deaf. I would say over the last 10 years, we've made even greater strides when it comes on to deaf education. we've been able to, in the same way that you and I, as members of the hearing public, would have learned English in school, to standardize and help to ensure that you are in a better position to communicate effectively. We now have a sign language curriculum that is taught in our schools to our students to ensure that there is that strength in their natural language of signs. What we are noting as a challenge, though, we have a number of children who may be assessed, may be identified with a hearing loss, and they're placed in mainstream. The family may have the shame that they feel is going to come with them by identifying their child as having a hearing loss. And as a result of that, you do have students in mainstream who are struggling, slipping through the cracks. Unfortunately, over the last 7 years at least, between COVID and some of the other natural disasters we've had, education has been shaken and shifted so many times that it's not impossible for children to be slipping through the cracks and it not be the fault of a teacher. And I think that's such an important thing for us to remember. In the period of COVID where everybody was just trying to make it make sense, trying to make education still function in the way that was best suited in an environment that was constantly changing, a lot of kids just never got the kind of attention where you could say, I realize this student, when I call to them in the classroom, they're not responding. You may not even realize, because it's so normal now, that every time the TV goes on, it's a little louder to ensure that you can hear what's being said. So simple things that would have probably been identified if things were a little more normal over the last few years have now slipped. And unfortunately, that means that kids are in our classrooms struggling. We assume, or we may attribute their struggle to those years where they weren't really in the classroom setting, the changes in education for them for the past few years, not realizing that it may simply boil down to needing a hearing test so that you can better guide and support that child in their education.
Yeah, we have only seconds left, Kimberly, so let me ask you, so World Hearing Day 2026, the message you want to leave with your audience this morning?
Get hearing tested. That's what I want to leave with our audience. Connect with our hearing services. I can leave the numbers now, George. Or
Yes,
you want me to
yes, give them now. Give them now.
All right, so it's 876-968-6781 or 926-7709, 926-7001. Connect with our hearing services. We actually have a special running with discounted hearing tests for children between the age of 1 to 15, because we're really trying to target those students who are currently in school and who may not have ever been tested before but could benefit from a hearing test. There are some conditions, and of course the team, when you contact, can give you some details. But we really are hoping to make hearing health a part of our culture as a people, because we know that we talk about knowing your numbers. We want persons to also know just your general status of health so you can be in the best position to make the right decisions for you and your family.
Excellent. And I hope the next time we see each other, it won't be you book me up in your house with a group of party goers like the last time.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
We're gonna
Yeah.
fix it.
There you go. All right, Kimberly, thank you. All the best to you.
All right, thank you.
Kimberly Marriott Blake, she's Executive Director of Jamaica Association for the Deaf. That's that segment. Birthdays up next.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:46.
Without a care in the world, you know what I mean?
No worry for me head top, not at all.
And if you know me, you know say I know.
No what?
Put no trouble on my back.
Oh.
No. Oh, no worry about that. Cha-cha rise me out of my bed. I mean, go if and go wash my dread. Me alright, alright.
Tell you my alright.
I'm say cha-cha sunrise wake me up this morning, and I can hear Mama Africa calling. Alright, alright. I tell you me alright, yeah.
I got to give the most high praise. From me see the lid them on both eyes raised. Breathing the breath of life, so I pray to still Selassie, I for watch over those like we. Yeah. Smile with the rising sun. The creation me never hiding from. No negativity up in our kingdom. Mama Africa, your child's to come.
I'm such a rise me out of my bed. I mean, go if and go wash my dread. Me alright, alright. No. I'm such a sunrise. Wake me up this morning. And I can hear Mama Africa calling. Alright, alright. I tell you me alright, yeah.
What a sweet summer day. Mother Earth, you I am free from a day. Me chew some carrot and beet and eat a jelly. Then dipping at the river cause me feel figure big.
I wash off the crosses off of me. Sweet life King Selassie off of me. Never be ungrateful. No people go sleep and they never wake up.
Thanks for life. Give thanks for life. Oh, chimney, chimney. Today my rise like the sunrise, my bright and my upright. No one can break my vibes. I may not care who I fight, I know I criticize. I'm on the higher heights. So you can say what you want to and do what you want to. It's no concern to me. But come have my own vision, me dip on my own mission to rule my destiny. Oh, it's my day to do anything I want to. It's my time, and I'll use it any way I want to. It's my life, and I'm responsible for every action. It's all mine, my day, my time, my life. I beg you, easy now, give me some reason now, and don't invade my space. I'm in a different place, different phase, moving on my way. So if you feel like a champion, then nothing can go wrong. This one is your song.
8:49 on the clock. At some time, we're gonna have to talk about Jonathan Grant High School and what they're doing in Schools Challenge Quiz, and them send champion, them dead. Them send Arden, them dead. Them send all kind of school, all of them dead. Well, them not send Hampton because somebody did kill Hampton from long time.
Why Hampton and Kid Street?
They're not Hampton.
Why Hampton and Kid Street?
I'm just saying.
No, we're not talking about Hampton.
Them dead. But
them eliminate you, so them start shine now.
We're not ready, eh? No. I told the gentleman this morning that, listen, I am the prototype. Yeah, me and the prototype. You understand? Then finally, build an next George after all these years. And they've built a whole army. Mm-hmm. No, I'm very impressed.
No, but they're doing an incredible job.
I'm very impressed, man. I love my school. You see? And look at it.
Big up the coaches.
Look at it now. Yes, look at it now. A long time me alone stay so with the flag in the town. Me alone, you know. Everywhere we go, me alone stay so, you know. Jonathan Grant. No, a whole army, a flag bearer stay so.
For real.
Yeah, man. Big up, man. Big up,
Jonathan Grant. So their match was what, last week?
Cornwall College get neutralized.
Good morning to the good folks over there at Jonathan Grant.
As my brother
the
did say.
Team members, the coaches of your quiz team.
And the faculty, everybody. As a friend said, we'll beat them till we can't find them, till we have to ask them what then.
Big up this morning. Yeah.
Oh, God.
That time, though, when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. So, happy birthday greetings going out to Brian Miller in Falmouth. And is this Angel Smith in Kingston and Sav? Happy birthday. Both of these are coming from Sergeant Wayne Wallace. Belated happy birthday greetings going out. This one says to my nephew Shane from Aunt Juliet, Mom Grace, Sister Nina, brothers Coffee and Tim, his son Kyrie, and his girlfriend. Wishing you a happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed your day on Sunday. So, on Facebook, happy birthday greetings going out to Christopher Pecos, Sharon Young, Vanzo Den, Stefan Moulton, Carrie Ann James, Tasha Beckford. Happy birthday as well to Tasha Renique Henry Tasha. Happy birthday to Dwayne Hillary, Murdoch Moulton, Rod Andrea Rod, K. McPherson, and Maria Teresa Tamaroy and Ebony Blake. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Xavier Biggs, Shadow Jason Ingram, Shan, Miss Independent Williams, Shan Henderson, and Kimberly Henry. Also seeing here, please send birthday greetings, a very happy birthday to our wonderful colleague and friend, Norma Christie, who is celebrating her birthday today. Another year older and definitely another year more awesome. Thank you for your kindness, your loyalty, and the joy you bring into our lives. From Lauren, Stephen, Marissa, and Karen. And this one says, happy birthday shout out for a member of our family club. A member of our family club, Rookie Wilson, preferred Tamu Good, is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Tamu Good. Happy birthday. Wishing for you a lovely day.
And is Rookie this?
Yeah.
Wow, love to hear.
Hate to
Oh yeah,
hate to you.
Go on, Rookie.
Fabulous.
Shirt say Aki and Saltfish. You like that shirt?
I like this shirt.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
like
man.
this shirt.
See, this what the family club members get? Just like this, yeah? Visual happy birthday. And while you're at it, let me just interject there. Our new members that we're welcoming. Desron Graham. King, you mean say Desron just joined the family club? And Desron, well, no, Desron at the cement will mix and make the building that is nationwide. But Desron, Desron, you have to do better.
You also have data and Wi-Fi.
Yeah, man, Desron. No, sir. Long time. Desron just read. Desron, me disappointed now. Anyway, Desron is here. Welcome, Desron Graham. Marissa Dalrymple Philibert is here. Thank you and welcome. Miss Sunshine, Corinne Campbell, Jean Lowry Chin, saw her last week at the Pegasus, ever fabulous. Owen E. Spencer, Jerome Green, Young Don, Eldon Williams, Rochelle Peart, Craig Hamilton, Norris, Eva, Elon Parkins, Elon him now. Elon just reached. Come to Elon, man. Roydell Gale, Neil Powell, Miss Chin, Angela Jam 66, Marcia Keaton, Glenroy Griffiths, all our newest members to the Nationwide Family Club. So the roll call is done. Desron Graham, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, Miss Sunshine, Corinne Campbell, Jean Laurie Chin, Owen E. Spencer, Jerome Green, Jerome, you need to do better than my youth. Young Don, Eldon Williams, Rochelle Peart, Craig Hamilton, Norris, Eva, Elon Parkinson, Roydell Gale, Neil Powell, Miss Chin, Angela Jam 66, Marcia Keaton, and Glenroy Griffiths, all members of the Nationwide Family Club. So here's the thing now. We've hit a milestone with more than 500 signed up and more than 100 paid up members. All of this in only 3 weeks. 3 dege weeks alone, and we've made this progress. Going forward, we've made the Nationwide Family Club more rewarding by increasing your chances of getting more. So for the entire month of March, 4 lucky members. Hold on. Give me the screen. Let me show them, King, what 4 look like. Because people no go Jonathan Grant now I recognize 4. See them here. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lucky members of the Nationwide Family Club will win a supermarket voucher valued at $25,000. All right? $25,000 for 4 lucky members of the Nationwide Family Club in the month of March. So sign up today at patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Enjoy your exclusive benefits, and you could be one of the lucky members who gets a supermarket voucher for $25,000 in the month of March. All right? Yeah. And Sharon Bliss, Sharona birthday tomorrow, we see it. We have to remind her tomorrow just to see, but we see it. Okay?
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. But for today, Monique Grant sending happy birthday to a childhood friend, Daniel Temporal McKenzie. And Monique is saying, love you. So happy birthday to you. And Sidika Stewart sending happy birthday to Michaelia Miller. And Sidika says, you are 6, but you behave like 70. So, Michaelia Miller, 6 years old today. Happy birthday to you.
Louder than words. I want your love that is mine.
876 Thelma says, happy birthday to one of my little sisters. You did what one? Deacon Sharon McLeod? You did?
I didn't.
Yeah, Deacon Sharon McLeod from the Dover Baptist Church, wishing her good health and strength, peace and love. So Thelma says happy birthday to one of her little sisters, Deacon Sharon McLeod from the Dover Baptist Church. Thelma is wishing you good health, strength, peace and love.
Sylvia Corley sending happy birthday greetings to Ornella Walker-Neal, wishes coming from a wonderful family. From your wonderful family, Ornella Walker-Neal, sending you happy birthday greetings. Enjoy your day.
Kenyatta Montgomery says, George, where you at Grant with Tamara Lambert? Yeah, man. Budge. Big cricketer. Yes, man. Yeah, man. Big Sunlight Cup team that I think they lost to Marlon Samuels' KC in that Sunlight final. Yeah, man. Big cricketer, man. Big Budge.
And Liberty Rally sending happy birthday to Sister Maxine from Mom Madge, your sister Sandra, Mitzi, and Dion, and your nephews Reese and Raheem. So happy birthday to you, Maxine, from your entire family. Good news, sending happy birthday greetings to Shauna that works in the communications department at OPM. So, Shauna, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you.
So you know talk where it come from?
From Good News, yeah.
No,
Good.
man, from Preston.
Oh, shoot.
You know, you lady up the man thing, you know. Yeah, man.
Preston with the purple. I don't know why I was thinking of the hall at UE. Anyway, so Preston sending happy birthday greetings to Shauna. So happy birthday to you, Shauna.
Yeah. Aston Preston Hall up on your mind?
Yeah, because I saw the purple.
Yeah. Paula Brown says happy birthday to Leon Jones in Broadleaf in Manchester.
Happy birthday.
One step behind and you're down. You've got.
Them said George, talk true. The mayor was wicked Sunday. Boy, I get Jeremy and some beating. Iman Simone live for Jeremy and two Jeremy upon their live. Oh my God. May I listen, man? May I drive and I listen.
Chat, Jeremy?
Yes, man, in the chat like a fool. I make him man give some lick. Belt buckle, man, I beat him with the time.
Because you can't musically respond. You know, take it.
Yeah. Oh, Mrs. Elaine Barker, the mother of Ludlow Barker. Today is your birthday, Mrs. Elaine. All the best to you. Yeah, wishing you all the best, Miss B. Enjoy the day. And yeah, Ludlow and everybody sending greetings for you on this day, your special day.
Seeing one here, happy birthday to one of my patients, Claudette Francis, 90 years old today in Toronto, Canada, coming from GEM. So happy birthday to you. Paula Brown sending happy birthday to Leon Jones in Broadleaf, Manchester. And Cherry Wallace sending happy birthday to Karen Bennett in Middle Quarters, St. Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you, Karen. Wishing for you a good day. And Shandy Hamilton sending happy Earth Strong to John Holt. You're the best. So happy birthday to you.
I said you got to be where it's.
Hey King, may I play some John Holt Sunday now? Yeah man, play some John Holt, man. And I punch at the same time, eh?
So can I get my musical request to exit the show?
I wish you never play. I wish you never play.
Market. Yeah.
Which tune that, King? Look where you're turning at you.
Listen, if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary as well from the NTM team.
You know, in these times when the world is full of nothing but wars, lies, and crime.
After me care me baby mother go a market. Me say me and me baby mother go a market. Nobody king love is all I bring. Chaman, me care me baby mother go a market. Me say me and me baby mother go a market. She say fi drop a pound of pumpkin in the basket. Pick up some roses and she take up couple chocolate. She no want fi go no Walmart and she no want go no Target. And she want the natty dread fi Cara go a market. Say take up a vegetable, tell me say she want it. Baby girl I want fi take some picture with the artist. Me market looking like a stone love party. Everybody stand up at them favorite stall. One man a
hear that guitar?
Bad. Tune about town.
Yeah.
Bad tune this.
Yeah. Got to go.
Anyway, your assignment is Friday morning, Tana will sing this song. Okay? On Friday morning, Tana.
You set me up. I say you set me up.
No, me not set you up. Me give you assignment beforehand so you can prepare. no, you call for tune. Eh?
I don't like you too.
Go on, go study tune.
I don't like you too.
So Friday morning, listeners, at 6:35, Tana will be singing this song on Nationwide this morning.
Oh my goodness.
Pana rhythm, no acapella.
That's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thanks so much to our super producer, Michelle McCray-Smith, and our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King, and our super editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Click News Online. I'm Tana.
And I'm the Rabbi Rouser.
Good morning.
I'm say easy not to dread the original Chronic Stone, Spanish Town, Jamaica.
You just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Farmers scene and big respect to all original DJ scene. Nicodemus
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.